Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 405 for the week of June 11th, 2019. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Possibly an empty chair with Scott Shea to be filling it.
Yeah, he said maybe, so we'll see if he shows up.
And Kevin.
And Charlie.
No.
You can't steal the "and" part.
Hey.
You can't steal his "and" part.
Well, I was identifying as two people, the chair and myself.
And Kevin and Charlie. There you go.
And Ryan and Brock.
That's all the way around.
Now everybody feels special.
Is it an ampersteen or is it an "and"?
We have we've been having some discussions about NDAs pre-podcast.
Because we're all under one here.
No. But in a rare, I do want to get this out of the way in the top of the podcast. So before we move on to some news and everything, in a rare case, I was given an NDA. I had to sign an NDA for a comic book. It has not happened in a long time, and I've been given the ability to say a few words about it. I have to keep it very minimal. But I've been given the okay to say a few things.
Can you tell us what book
it is?
You read?
It is.
Ooh.
It is Jonathan Hickman's House of X #1, and the completed artwork for Powers of 10 #1.
So Powers of 10 isn't a silent issue?
No, it is not.
Okay.
No text in that one. However, they showed us all the artwork for that. Now they wanted us. Obviously, we can't talk about the plot or characters or anything like that, but we were allowed to give very, very vague impressions. So the X-Men have been, I think, maybe not where they should have been the last decade or so at Marvel. All right, a lot of just trying to tread in water, and the books, they haven't really had their own personality. They've gone back to some classic stories occasionally, but like it hasn't really. They just haven't really pushed that needle at all.
Well, I think after House of X or House of M, like that was a huge shakeup to the X-Men universe.
It was,
and I mean, we did get the Messiah Complex stuff out of that.
But at this point, is that even 10 years? Is that over 10 years ago?
That's over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like. And that, like, I think the Messiah Complex stuff was the last time we really had that X-Men push. We had X, but
so they've had a few sort of good, successful launches of X-Men books, but they have not caught on the way X-Men has traditionally in the past.
Yeah. So Hickman's going to be taking a pretty different approach to these characters going forward. So they wanted us to kind of talk a little bit about, like, you know, sales and our ordering ideas for House of X. And you know, obviously, I'm hoping we get to see the full text for Powers of X before orders are due, to see what that the most shocking, the most dramatic change ever in the X-Men ever is. Because I saw the panels. I just have no context of what's really going on.
Do you know who it is?
There's no text. Who that lady is in the panel. Again, it is not clearly anyone.
Okay.
Even asking on the Marvel retailer page, they're like, well, we're not talking about it, but it should be very obvious who it is. I'm like, it's not. I don't think it's Kitty Pryde. It's not. It's no clearer having seen the rest of the issue who that person is. I'm assuming it's Moira McTaggart, but I don't know for sure. It's not obviously another character, except for maybe Moira. House of X, Hickman's got big ideas. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. It definitely is easily one of the best issues of X-Men I've read in quite some time. Right? It's a very cool setup. Mm-hmm. I from an ordering perspective and a retailer perspective, absolutely, we're going to order a shitload of this. It's Hickman, all right? I mean, Marvel's had some big hits recently, but the X-Men books, Uncanny's doing fine, all right? It's selling, it's up there for our numbers, but I think they want X-Men to be a top 10 book every month, and this could, at least for the 6-issue or the 2 6-issue miniseries, it could definitely get there. Past number one. Number one will obviously be a number one book, but I could see all 12 issues of those being in the top 10. Long term, or there's so many questions we don't know. They just had the preview art come out for the final issue. I think it was either, I don't remember if it was House or Power, but one of the number 6 issues, we got the cover art today, and it's like that weird Maker-looking, Professor X-looking guy that with like the Maker, the evil Reed Richards from the Ultimates universe that has that big like half helmet on, like Professor X looks the same in this, right? I mean, it's like well, I can't say anything, but
about a cover art.
You've seen him on the cover, yeah. He's been on the covers, right? You've seen this stuff. So I just, I'll be very curious what they do post this series, because we're going to get a whole relaunch of all the X-Men books, and it seems like a pretty dramatic status quo shift for the X-Men, and I'm hoping it translates to people coming back and getting excited for it. So if you've been on the fence, if one more X-Men relaunch is you thought this was not your thing, this felt like a good enough starting point that if you haven't read X-Men for years or you've been burned out, I think you can kind of come into this and just, because it doesn't make any sense to me either, right? Like this doesn't come out of anything. This is purely its own, starts as its own story. So, the last couple issues of Uncanny might run into it. I have no idea. Yeah. It doesn't, but it feels like it's very much.
So does it feel like it's something that's trying to get those readers, those laxed readers that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That the constant renumbering and just kind of ditching of the X-Men.
Well, but this is just going to be that. It's going to be 6 issues, and then and you have to read them back and forth. You have to read House Power. It's like it should have really just been one series, but it is 2 storylines. But you have to read both. It's obviously trying to get those readers back. Obviously, Grant Morrison's new X-Men is such a massive point for my X-Men fandom. And there might be, there is a similar shades or kind of ideas or feeling.
The tone is similar.
Similar in some fashion. So not plot, but the I feel like you're kind of in the same general
Morrison's
ballpark.
X-Men, I remember reading it and really enjoying it, because even though it was kind of a new shift or a new take or just it felt revitalizing.
Yeah.
Of the X-Men at the time, like even though even though we had some kind of shitty characters come out of it, like Beak and Angel, and like characters that I wasn't necessarily fond of completely,
like Beak and Angel. There's some characters I like, but mostly Beak, Angel, and Quentin Quire. The 3 characters created for Morrison's X-Men. I could do without them.
Phantom X and
but
like
it's most of them. Those are the 3.
What's the other one that turned into
Zorn?
Zorn, yeah. Like
that's just banged.
I think I liked Beak towards the end of the run versus at the beginning, but again, it was enjoyable. It brought me back to liking the X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
And
didn't have enough cable.
This is true.
Well, as we get closer, I'm sure Marvel will promote this more, and it's like a month and change, I think, till the books are out. So, cool.
It's surprising that we have like art for the last issue's cover, but are they?
It's
twice a month.
Twice a month. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's weekly. Both issues are. It's if
1
you're
week.
Buying week. Yeah, it's 1 week. So it should end about mid October. So yeah, I definitely think.
Now, Kevin, where's your plug? Where's your little dig at Doomsday Clock? Is it good? This is going to end before Doomsday Clock, right?
This X-Men?
Yeah, the X-Men stuff's going to end before Doomsday Clock.
Well, it's weekly, so I'm assuming it'll end before Doomsday Clock.
What Ryan said.
Hopefully Disney doesn't sue me for this, and I think everything I said was okay. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So if you're an X-Men fan, you should get hyped. There's actually a lot of X-Men stuff to talk about this week, and some of it's good. That was good. Actually, going to go straight to E3, because it's been E3 weekend and E3
Didn't you
week.
talk about this on the Geekbox already?
Geekbox, we're recording tomorrow night, baby.
Oh, God.
And I told everybody we were going to talk E3 this week.
Yeah, of course we're going to talk E3. E3 is the big video game conference down in Los Angeles, and while any follower of mine just saw me gushing about Nintendo all day long on Twitter,
You're welcome, by the way,
and even other days when Nintendo wasn't on, me going like, yeah, this is fine, but when's the Nintendo press conference? When's the Nintendo Direct? There actually was comic book news out of E3. Some actually pretty significant comic book news. Well, not comic books, but about comic books, video game comic book stuff. Like, no, they didn't announce new comic books at E3, but very big video game stuff involving comic books.
Stuff associated with comic books was announced at E3.
Was announced there. We all saw the Avengers trailer, Marvel's Avengers, which is coming out by Square Enix video game.
Speaking of NDAs,
all
I can comment on.
You saw the trailer.
I did not see the trailer.
Oh, okay.
I cannot say anything about the game other than the fact that I was paid to play test it for a week last year while it was in development.
Okay.
I cannot comment on the game beyond that. Only to say, though, I didn't watch the trailer because part of me never wants to see that game again. Not because it's bad, but because I spent 8 hours a day in a room for 5 days doing nothing, literally nothing other than bathroom breaks.
Yeah, once you spend about 40 hours in the game, you're like, I'm pretty much done.
So I did not watch the trailer.
Not me.
Now you
know okay.
Now you know what video game reviewers do for a living.
Right. Oh,
multiply it by 3.
Well, I was beyond excited for this.
I was excited too. I was like, hearing some of the talk about it.
Well, the Spider-Man game, the PS4 exclusive Spider-Man game was so good, and even though they changed stuff up, it fit the tone right, it felt right, the gameplay was so much fun. So there was a lot of hype for this Avengers game by Square Enix, and it's Marvel's Avengers, so it's clearly movie based. And man, something about that trailer just was really off. I don't care that the characters don't look like the actors. That's fine. But they really looked wrong.
It is not... Okay, how do I put this? It is definitely inspired by the movies, but it's not supposed to be like these are the characters from the movies.
But they don't even look like the characters. The best meme I saw was... a Spaceballs meme where they're like, "You idiots! You got their body doubles, or you got their stunt doubles," and it's all the stunt doubles turn around and they all look really weird. Like that's what this looks like. The models are really off.
I saw one that had Thor. Had the Marvel's cast, right? And it says, "Oh, we want to get all the Marvel cast to come do this game. Oh, we're going to have to pay you how much money?"
Yeah,
and then they show a picture of this.
Well, it looks weird. All the characters don't look like what the characters would look like. Like, Thor does not look like Thor. It looks like some weird off-model Thor. Cap looks off. Black Widow...
So, Cap out of costume looks weird to me. Yeah. Cap in costume looked fine.
I don't... Like, Hulk is Hulk, so it's fine. He's a big CG monster,
Hulk
so it's okay.
Easy. Like,
he was the only one that looked okay.
Hulk?
Yeah, but they we can't have him look like... what's his face?
Ruffalo?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, but we'll kinda, maybe. They should have just made him look totally different because it looks weird. Mm-hmm. And there's a video where they think 20 seconds of gameplay footage was shown where they have little segments where they think they're like, we're pretty sure this is actual gameplay, and the rest of this is just weird in-game cutscenes or just made up for E3. And it looks okay enough, but this better be early alpha or something. They need a couple passes more on this because something just looks off. The whole game looks weird. And, I play a bunch of old games and weird retro games and, baby Nintendo games. They have a style. The more you try to get realistic, the harder it is to look correct. And I think Spider-Man did a really good job of it. The faces got a little weird occasionally in Spider-Man.
It depends on... So... There were some characters in Spider-Man because I'm almost done with it now. I still haven't beat it, but that they obviously hired the actor and then modeled the character off of the actor, and those look great.
Yeah.
And then there's others where I don't think they had anything directly to model it off of, and those didn't quite look right.
Yeah. So I'm still excited to see gameplay footage and to see what the story is and. really, and I give it a shot. I mean, I really like Spider-Man. So it's not the same team, but it's very similar. I think it's going to be similar in style. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. But that was not a promising start. It's been quite a while since a real big Marvel game has been out. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out for the Switch. Yeah. Just in a couple weeks. I am so excited for that. They showed Elsa Bloodstone is going to be in it. Who else did they show today? Elektra. They've already shown the main people.
Yeah. There's a ton of people in it.
Oh, a shitload of characters, and they look They look great. It looks just like old school Marvel Ultimate Alliance, just a little more modern. It looks really fun.
No, I loved all the Ultimate Alliance games and the X-Men games that came out before those.
X-Men Legends, right? Yeah, those are all really fun. So I'm very excited for that. So it's been, we have a lot of good Marvel games. We potentially have a lot of, at this point, I think we're 2 for 2. I'm assuming Ultimate Alliance is going to be great. Spider-Man was great. Avengers is what are you doing, guys? What are you doing? But the other big news, this is, again, comic book related here. If you guys are familiar with the 1-Up cabinets, Arcade 1-Up, which are these sort of half-size arcade cabinets that they've been putting out, kind of combo packs, Street Fighter, they announced, finally, the first Marvel one. So it's going to have Marvel Superheroes and X-Men Children of the Atom, which were the 2 fighting games that predate Marvel vs. Capcom. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have the Punisher, the side-scrolling Punisher game. That's cool, right? So that's one cabinet that has all 3 games. The big one, though, and the thing about this cabinet's, this has the George Perez Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet on the sides of the cabinets, right? The big one, though, is the TMNT and Turtles in Time's 4-player side-scroller beat-em-up games with 4 controllers. All the other games have had 2. This actually comes with 4 controllers, which means the X-Men arcade game has to be next on the list.
Yes, but I want a double cabinet for the X-Men arcade game.
Oh, with the 6 one? Oh, no, it was 4, right? It was 4 with the 2 with
the 2 screens.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to get that. But this opens up.
I could see them doing it.
Finally, a 4-player version of these means that opens up for.
How much do these things cost?
A couple $100. Yeah, they're not that much.
Crazy.
No, I'm assuming the Turtles one will be a little bit more expensive because it has the extra controllers. And of course, a lot of people mod them and have every video game ever inside of them. But there's something really cool about having
This is you just put on a table, right?
Yeah. They're not. You can have them on risers. You wouldn't want them on a kitchen table. It'd be too tall. But they're not huge slabs like a standard. It's smaller.
Not like a ginormous arcade.
No. But the 4-player Turtles means Simpsons, Dungeons and Dragons, the Avengers game, which I would love I would love if they do X-Men and Avengers. That Avengers 4-player game was fantastic. Simpsons, D&D. Was Bucky O'Hare 4-player?
No,
I don't think
Bucky,
so.
I think
was Bucky only 2? Maybe.
Bucky was only.
Those 4-player side-scroller beat-em-ups were so good. It's Simpsons and X-Men is a no-brainer. They have to do.
I'd like them to even get not 4-player ones, but in terms of the old Marvel games, the old Spider-Man side-scroller and Cap and Avengers and.
Hey, Brock, turn around. Scott's at the door. It's a lot easier when you just say it instead. He wasn't looking.
I was trying to keep up the high production values.
Very, very excited for these. So I'm not there yet. Oh, so the Turtles is $349 because it has the 4 cabinets. It has the 4 sticks. The other ones, the Marvel Superheroes, is $299. So that's X-Men. No question, I will buy that for the store. That's incredible. What? You texted me. You said you're going to be here at 7:30.
It's 7:35.
Yeah. Then the other week you're I'll be there, and then you never showed up. So I figured,
Yeah, you
Brock will get your mic. Brock will get you set up. Don't worry.
Hand me this stuff.
I'm recording a podcast.
We're cutting all this out, right?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Please edit this out.
Charlie, could you grab
a mic
stand and
we're gonna move on to some Charlie, this is other E3 stuff you want to talk about. I can sit here and talk about Nintendo Direct all day.
You'll have a couple hours to do it tomorrow night, right?
I'm so excited.
No, the other one.
So excited.
The other one.
Well, all I will say is to close that topic, I look forward to hearing your review of Square Enix's Avengers game.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I will. I'm sure I will have something to say about it when it comes out. Now, talking about movies, but we're still talking about X-Men here. X-Men Dark Phoenix opened this past week. Now, I don't know who's got a chance to see it.
I did.
Okay, well...
We're obviously not having a special episode about it.
I was going to do it next week because I'm going to see it on Thursday.
We can do it next week.
If you've...
Is he on?
Yeah, everyone's on. Yeah. Oh, no, this isn't plugged in. Call that the Kevin special.
Is that what happened last week?
Yeah, if you guys want to...
Ryan didn't plug it in.
If you guys want to wait and you're going to be here next week, we can...
I'm gonna give you a hot take.
Fully talk, but we can at least have the...
Yeah, keep it mild because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hot take and say that this is the third best X-Men movie.
Wow.
Whoa.
If X1,
what are the first two?
X1 and X2 are one movie.
I've heard third worst, and that's...
No, it's not that bad. Not at all.
Okay.
I heard it
We'll
was.
talk next
I heard it
week.
was.
Okay.
It was a little bit better than X-Men 3.
Now, it could be because I went in hoping that it was just above a dumpster fire. And
What's
saw it
just above a dumpster fire? Like,
it's smoldering. Meaning it's not fully on fire yet, but there is a fire potentially going in the dumpster.
Well, that was my thought going in, like, cool, this is going to be the worst movie I've seen all year. Let's go, right? So I'm
Not
going to go see it
even
on
close.
Thursday. Cool.
Not even
Don't
close.
get my hopes up.
Don't get your hopes up. But it was, I mean, it was interesting. So I saw it, and then I flipping through the newspaper, the Chronicle, because I read the newspaper like a civilized person. And I'm reading the review on it, and it's good. So in the Chronicle, they have a system where it's called The Little Man, and The Little Man, if it's the worst movie ever, he's gone. It's a movie chair with the guy gone. If he doesn't love it, the guy's asleep, the guy's just sitting there, the guy's sitting there clapping, or the guy's out of his seat cheering. That's the review system.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading through it, and I look at The Little Man, and he's up clapping, and I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy in thinking that this was an interesting thing. It's not the Dark Phoenix saga. I'm sorry. It's not what you're going to get. You're going to get a nice little Easter egg that you have to do a little research to find out who X, Y, and Z are.
Yeah.
But it was different and pretty good. I thought Sansa Stark did a pretty good job as Jean. She's not a deadpan actress like January Jones is.
No one's that bad.
And I thought it was interesting. Charlie?
Most of the stuff I want to talk about, I'd have to spoil stuff, but I do agree with you. It is not a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
dude, Ryan's here. You could spoil it because he does it all the time.
No, Kevin's going to go too.
No.
So next week we'll talk.
Just you can leave and we'll spoil.
Full spoilers.
spoil for him.
Full spoilers.
I'll do the Bryce and I'll walk around the building. Just text me when you're done.
really want to walk outside right now?
Well, what I did want to say was audiences did not care for this movie because it got one of the lowest. Actually, I think it is. I think
like
it might be
17%.
I think it might be the lowest cinema score, which is a B-, which is pretty low considering X-Men Apocalypse got an A-. So
Shut up.
That's the walked out of theater. What did you think score? Right.
False.
Cinema score tends to be like pretty. I mean, audience reviews cinema score for genre stuff always is like way high, right?
Totally not going to
people love
believe
it.
CineScore anymore. Rotten Tomatoes said it was a 17%.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes was super low.
I thought it went up.
Did it
like
go?
it started at 17, but
Okay.
I thought it went up to like 22 or something.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, up to 22.
Again, I think it's better than that. I mean, you can
as
argue.
long as it beats X-Men 3, right?
Don't go in thinking it's going to be X-Men 138.
23% right now.
37.
It even went up another percent.
Correct.
138 would be an interesting movie.
would be the
That's
one-
where Scott's just having a flashback of
So-
the whole history of the
Exactly.
So what's better, this or Batman vs Superman? Because I think that was about the same on the Rotten Tomato score. Kevin's just
Charlie, I looked at Charlie and he's watching Doctor Who instead.
Fingers crossed.
Answering that question.
No, I mean,
what was
there
Batman
was
vs
more for
Superman's
me
Rotten Tomatoes?
out of Batman v Superman.
Correct.
I don't know if it's necessarily something where...
27%. Sorry for
Yeah.
BVS.
I mean, I would say BVS for me was more fulfilling. I don't know if that necessarily makes it a better movie, but it definitely was more fulfilling.
My take was Dark Phoenix was a better movie.
Okay.
But I liked BVS and the times. There's things in it that I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about
Wonder
this.
Woman and a great musical intro. Like
Dark Phoenix wasn't a dumpster fire, and it finished the X-Men, and that's fine. I mean, with BVS, it was like there's going to be something else, and I have to be excited about the parts that I liked leading into something else that I potentially can like. The X-Men was like, okay, it's done. Great. Let's wait 7-8 years and have them reboot it and have him, Kevin Feige. Let him take care of it. But the movie was probably better. Neither are fantastic.
Well, it made a whopping $33 million opening weekend, which is by far and away the lowest grossing X-Men movie by like almost twice as much.
Yeah,
what beat it?
Life of Pets.
Yeah, Life of Pets.
Secret Life of Pets 2 beat it.
Hey, that looks good.
X-Men Apocalypse's opening weekend was $65.7 million. So they're expecting this will be the first X-Men franchise to finish under $100 million domestically, which is wow. Considering Deadpool did what, $900 million?
There was a couple things about. Again, I just think people, because they haven't been happy with Days of Future Past, of Apocalypse.
Days of Future Past.
Apocalypse was bad.
It's been kind of it
has been down
in my eyes. It's almost been since First Class.
Every movie's been worse than the
every
previous.
movie's been worse.
I don't know. I disagree, but that's okay.
Which one do you like better?
Well, I mean, think about what we've gotten since First Class. Like, I really like Days of Future Past. I will absolutely stand up and say that I like that better than First Class. But we've also had both Deadpool movies, Logan.
Oh, I don't even count those.
I don't even know if the Wolverine was after First Class. But, I mean, this is all like the Fox X-Men properties.
I mean, they 100% count as X-Men movies. I don't get people that pull those out of the listing. Yeah. They are Deadpool and Logan are 100% X-Men movies. It's so weird.
Yeah. Okay, then it's not the third best X-Men movie. It is.
It's the third best X-Men movie.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
If you count X-Men 1 and 2,
so fourth best X-Men movie.
If you count two movies as one, then this is the fourth best.
Sure.
This is what I'll say.
Is X-Men Origins Wolverine an X-Men movie?
It's an X-Men movie, but I like to forget it.
No. X-Men is literally the first thing
he just said. No, he just said no.
It is so bad it's not on my list.
Fourth best and third worst are actually the same place.
It is right in the middle.
Right?
It is right
X-Men,
smack.
X-Men 2, X-Men 3, Days of Future Past,
First Class.
You forgot First Class.
1, 2, 3. Sorry, First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse. This. So this is the fourth best. It's also the third worst. It's the same one.
Look, semantics. You're getting into semantics and making this an unnecessary long podcast.
At least we're all in agreement. The worst is X-Men 3.
Okay, it's better than you thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And to be continued.
Of the two, this is the Bryce argument, of the two best comic book companies, DC is the worst, right? So that's call that the Bryce one.
Bryce might like Image better if you take Batman out of DC.
Count Batman as a separate character. Not part of DC.
Company altogether.
Yes.
Sticking on, so next we could talk about Dark Phoenix a little bit more. Some spoilers. Sticking on the movie and TV, let's we got to talk about Swamp Thing. Because what a fucking wild week this has been.
Okay.
This has been for Swamp Thing.
I read a couple articles, but I haven't...
has nothing to do with the quality of the show.
Yeah.
It's all the
tax implications
No.
Okay.
So here's
give me the rundown.
Here's been the week. Okay, I'm gonna go day by day on this. Okay, for fucking Swamp Thing.
Yeah, break it down.
Swamp Thing premieres. Really good. Really, people seem to really like it. I still haven't seen it yet. People seem to really like it. I think we even talked about it last week, right? Didn't we talk about the first episode? You had seen it, Charlie?
Briefly.
Yeah.
So episode 2 is out now.
Episode 2 is out now. Yeah. All of a sudden, reports they've canceled the show. And after the first episode, right?
Now,
that it was all sort of due to some big, major, like, creative shakeup, and this explains why they pulled it back from 13 episodes to 10 episodes, and the show's done. Someone at Warner Brothers just doesn't like it, show's over. All right.
Now they stop at 1. They're not even going to show anymore, or they're just going to.
Oh no, they're still going to show the
full 10.
The full 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
one season,
series of articles and links come out that said, where did they film it? Louisiana. That they had been promised $40 million in tax rebates to film there, and that there was some weird accounting error, and they were only getting like $12 million. And so Warner Brothers was like, "What the fuck? No, like this show's too expensive to film because it's such a high quality show. We need those rebates. If we're not getting the full rebate, we have to cancel the show. We have to pay back our investors. We have to pay, we have to zero this out. The show's canceled." And everyone's like, "The fuck? Like, well, that sucks. That sucks that this whole thing was due to some weird accounting error."
Yeah.
Right? And so far, Warner Brothers had, like, never really officially,
this is like this is like day 2.
Yeah.
Of news.
Even to this point, I don't think Warner Brothers has said anything official. Like, people have heard this, and it's officially been, like, told to third parties, but I don't know that Warner Brothers has said anything publicly.
No.
At least not that I've seen. So this goes on for a few days. And then out of nowhere, suddenly people are like, wait, that's total bullshit. The Louisiana only has like $20 million total in the year, 20-something million, 24 million or something like that, to give for tax rebates. They were only ever getting 12 million or 14 million or whatever it is.
So who's the idiot that needs to get fired?
So like this whole deal has nothing to do with tax rebates. That's all a lie, or it was incorrect, or someone misspoke and it got weirdly telephoned to being the reason it got canceled. Now AT&T is looking at, because AT&T owns Warner Brothers at this point. AT&T is looking at the entire DC universe.
Now?
This is like day 5 or something like that. The entire DC universe streaming service and app, whether they're even gonna continue it at all, and they're reevaluating the entire thing. And the Swamp Thing was it creative? Was it AT&T? Nobody knows. So James Wan himself came out and says he doesn't know or understand why the show was canceled. He's the producer of the show. So some Joe Blow in the glass house, freaking Oz, decides that we're not having this anymore. Nobody has a clue what's going on. Now,
hack job.
I have some friends that work at Warner Brothers, and I've heard more than once over the last couple of years that nobody knows what's going on there ever. That
just Oz,
not even Oz. that departments, and they just had a huge restructuring after the AT&T purchase, and that everything's up in the air. I mean, we've seen this with DC directly with their graphic novels and their culling of the line, and now we're seeing this with the DC Universe app that just no parties aren't talking to each other. So who knows? If the producer of the show doesn't know why something was canceled, how the hell are we supposed to know?
No, but the first thing that kind of comes to mind with this kind of stuff is the Netflix Marvel stuff. Like, I'm just waiting to see what happens with the next show.
For Netflix?
No, for the DC streaming app. Because if you get past Swamp Thing and they do the other half of Young Justice and then announce
it's over.
Then
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of belief that Warner Brothers wants their own streaming service, and that makes sense, right? Obviously, Disney's comes out in a couple
there
months.
was some talk specifically around the Warner streaming service and how they wanted the Arrowverse shows on there after they left Netflix.
Right. And it would make sense. I mean, the idea of a DC streaming service really never made a lot of sense. But part of a larger Warner package makes sense, right?
Yeah, there's if you're in the Warner app, you go to the DC.
It's just
app,
there, right?
Right. It's the DC tab.
I mean, trust me, I would buy a Star Trek streaming service as much as I'm going to buy a CBS streaming service, right? But they understand that the Star Trek brand was a way to get people in so they can have all the rest of their stuff on there for just better value and get more subscribers.
Yeah. There's a Star Trek streaming service?
Well, no, there's a CBS one. but it's basically a Star Trek streaming service
to stream Star Trek.
How many Star Treks, or just the new Star Trek?
Well, they
have all the shows and everything, but
the original,
it's all CBS, right? So it's CBS All Access.
Do they have OG Star Trek?
Yeah. So
William Shatner?
I think so. I think all the Star Treks are on there at this point. But so they have.
I think all the Star Treks are like everywhere though.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, no, they pulled them all off Netflix, didn't they?
I don't know if they've. So I know they're still on some other streaming services. Whether or not they're still on Netflix, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought they all left Netflix. But CBS did this, so they're gonna have they have this new season of
Discovery.
Well, Discovery and the Picard show coming up. But no, what's the other one they did? The one Jordan Peele, the anthology,
the Twilight
Zone. Yeah, sorry. So they had the Twilight Zone original show on there as well, and so now. Again, I think a DC streaming service makes the most sense. I'm sorry, I think a Warner Brothers streaming service makes the most sense, with the DC being a large part of it.
Just seems like there's just more content for people to watch.
Well,
it would be cartoons and all their movies and just tons of stuff.
For me, it just becomes a question about the comic book side of the streaming service. If it becomes just comic books, or if they move that also to the Warner app.
And that is a big question, because I don't believe the Marvel Unlimited is going to have any connection to Disney Plus. Marvel Unlimited is Marvel's comic service, and Disney Plus is going to have the TV shows and movies. But I don't believe the comics are going to be part of Disney Plus. Now, if they are, fucking great, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, I mean, just on my Twitter feed, for people that are like they're on the streaming service and they go, I use the app to read old comics just to check things out. But again, I'm sure Marvel Unlimited does well enough for itself, but so much of this DC streaming service success is for the shows. Yeah, it's for the shows, but I'm saying like the comic books do get some pull with at least comic book people.
Of course, but it is most people would drop it if the shows weren't on there, right? And the movies weren't on there. Only a select people would get it for the comics. So we have no clue. Maybe it's all bullshit. Maybe they'll just roll this into Warner Brothers, and Swamp Thing will continue with season 2 as expected next year.
Or Rob Liefeld was right, and DC is circling the drain.
We got a question about that.
I saw that, and I'm like, dude, this guy is off the rocker again.
We're going to move to some comic book stuff, so let's actually start. Let's start with that one.
Wait, hold on.
No,
Charlie was not here when you discussed. Charlie, were you here? I listened to the podcast last week when they mentioned that The Tick was canceled, and I don't know if we got your take on it, because I know I watch it and I was crushed.
Oh, I was absolutely crushed. And why do you have to keep bringing it up?
Yeah, because I want to be able to commiserate with Charlie about it, because
you want to share misery.
Share misery.
It was a great show. I am hoping it gets picked up by another streaming service, but I've never heard of that happening currently. Not from streaming service to streaming service.
So good,
but it was.
This
is one of those weird cases where I don't even know why they would announce the cancellation, because to me, until the last minute contracts have to be signed, you might as well just see what the numbers if they get uptick, if word of mouth helps. They just axed it.
I would say that this was better than the previous live action one.
I would agree with that, I also feel like the previous live action one didn't really get a fair chance. It kind of came and got canceled super fast.
Yeah.
Yes. But it also had sort of a bad timing at the time.
Oh, I love that show. It was so good.
Yeah.
None of you guys, I can't believe you guys don't watch it. It's brilliant.
For me, the cartoon is still the best. Out of all the shows, the original cartoon is still the best.
Cartoon's amazing.
But the Amazon show has been really, really good, and I really like this sort of new world they've dropped The Tick into in the Amazon show. I thought that was
really
very
fun.
well done.
It was good. It was, I was crushed.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring it up, Charlie.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So we got an email from Ulysses.
Oh,
from what's the date?
Ulysses, the other Ulysses today.
Holy!
Yeah.
Isn't Ulysses a regular listener?
He says the other Ulysses, so maybe there's two.
Well, I was going to say a regular listener would know never email, tweet. Well, here's the order.
I could see a regular listener being like, "I'm going to ask him this question,
and just
yes,
in 5
date
years
it for comedy value." Yes, or listeners, in order, best ways to reach Ryan for a question on this show: tweet at him, call the store, send a carrier pigeon, hire a skywriter, mail it, like snail mail it.
Put it in a bottle, close it, throw it in the sea.
And finally, email.
What's funny is I actually keep my email is tight. Nothing's unread, everything's sorted, everything's where it's supposed to be. I'm just terrible at actually pulling them out when we're supposed to have the.
How many emails do you have in the comic conspiracy folder that you have on your?
Quite a few.
How many thousand?
Not thousands. So he says, thoughts on.
This is the other Ulysses.
Thoughts on the Bleeding Cool article about Rob Liefeld's prediction that DC Comics is about to, quote-unquote, fall off a cliff, period. I hope he's wrong.
Quick question.
Now, just so this isn't
why are we discussing Bleeding Cool?
But I was about to say, just so this doesn't turn into a beat-up Bleeding Cool, this is a Liefeld tweet that they were quoting.
Right.
This is not a Bleeding Cool quote-unquote scoop.
No, but still.
Sure it is. They just scooped it straight from Rob Liefeld's Twitter.
I was going to say, they definitely made it go wider.
Yes.
It's like this is like scooping Bob from Daily City's tweet that nobody buys DC at his comic book shop, so nobody's going to buy DC ever.
If there were, I have to assume this was only based on the variant cover sales for the 2 issues of Justice League that Rob Liefeld did the art for, that I have to assume every store cut their orders by a
one of his
huge
tweets
amount.
said he increased sales.
I don't believe that.
I'm just telling you.
If there's two people...
He increased sales on the main cover.
If there are two... Yeah, he did. If there are two people on the internet... that whatever they say, you know it's the exact opposite. It's Rob Liefeld and Bleeding Cool. Okay?
So wait, when they're melded together, does that make them both right?
Two wrongs make a right?
No, two wrongs make an even worse wrong.
Is this matter and antimatter?
And even more wrong. Okay.
No, it's just creating the black hole of the internet.
I didn't read Rob Liefeld's tweet because I don't give a fuck about Rob Liefeld. I didn't read the article on Bleeding Cool because I don't give a fuck about Bleeding Cool anymore. Okay, look.
Why do you guys swear?
Is DC going to fall off a cliff? No, of course. Like sales, are they going to go out of business?
I have one word of why it won't fall off a cliff.
What is that?
Batman.
Well, that was his argument. That's Liefeld's argument. He says that's why there's so much Batman content, because that's the only thing keeping them afloat. That they just got to crank out more and more Batman.
Got another word for you. Superman. No matter what, it's not going to die. Superman's been around since 1938.
And there's this other great character called Wonder Woman.
She's pretty good.
She's pretty good. Flash,
Yeah.
Just the characters alone, it will never die.
His argument is Marvel has a deep bench of all these characters that can sustain Marvel, and DC is only Batman, holding up everything else.
Well, I just like how, over the past decade, we've seen the rise of the Avengers have been really good, and then they haven't, and then Spider-Man's been good, and then he's Spider-Man's not carrying the Marvel line, even though Spider-Man's probably one of their best-selling comics.
Yeah, and we'll do this in a little bit.
And then just to add for Ryan personally, to the King Kong versus Godzilla aspect of this whole thing, the first person who steps in to rebut Liefeld is Mark Miller.
Really?
Yes.
Really? So you and Mark Miller.
It's a cursed thread, okay?
You and Mark Miller.
And it's all summed up on Bleeding Cool.
There is a...
There you go. Put some whipped cream on that shit sundae for you.
Yeah, okay.
We should get him on.
Eat it, Ryan.
So
we should get Mark Miller on. And
I actually
have you guys hash it out.
I actually forgot how we were supposed to start this podcast, and that's with sales charts.
I was going to
remind
May.
You. Yeah, because this
sales charts.
Well, this goes straight into it.
Yeah.
Let's do the sales charts for May,
Batman.
and then let's take a look at Marvel's huge bench of perpetually top-selling characters, okay?
And keep in mind, Batman is all that's keeping DC afloat.
So what are your top 10 books
okay, can we all do it at the same
May?
time?
Batman. 2 issues.
So Batman does make up 4 of the top 10 titles.
Check for Liefeld over here on this column. That counts as a win.
And so I'm sorry
for Rob.
How many Marvel? There's one character in the top 10 for Marvel as well. So there you go. So Spider-Man's keeping Marvel afloat the same way Batman keeps DC afloat.
Yeah.
We have Batman number 71 is the number 9 book at 82,000 copies. Batman number 70 is the number 8 book at 83,000 copies. We have Batman Who Laughs number 5 is the number 5 book at 108,000 copies, and Batman Last Night on Earth, which is the new oversized 3-issue miniseries.
The Black Label.
Yeah, Black Label by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
That is a good size.
It's 113,000 copies. That's the number 3 book.
Did that come out in the week that there was only oversized books?
Yeah.
Okay, I have that then. I just haven't read it yet. War of Realms.
So, well, no. Number 11, though. Number 3 is the number 11 book at 77,000.
That Superman. Did that book hit it?
Yeah, it came out. It was the extra size Leviathan.
Yeah,
but wasn't that in June?
Leviathan Rising was the number 56 book at 32,000.
Really?
And I'm telling you, stores under order that because it went to a second print immediately.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is in there.
Which
number 22 is the number 10 book at 78,000. Okay. Number 21 is the number 6 book at 92,000. I don't want Spider-Man 21.
What the heck was it?
It must have been variant covers or something.
Is Immortal Hulk on there?
No, it wasn't. It was just part of the Hunted.
Was it the first? Oh, was that the first part of the Hunted?
21? No, it's one of the last ones. 22 was the last Hunted issue.
I wonder what it must have been something.
Was there a hot chick on one of the covers?
I was going to say, yeah, what was the variant cover? Amazing Spider-Man 5 21 was the Black Cat version cover. So there you go. That's probably what a big
Heroes
chunk
in
of
Crisis.
Big chunk of that was. Heroes in Crisis, did not make
that's it.
the top 10. Number 9 was the number 12 book at 77,000 copies. Now, keep in mind, the internet will tell you that Heroes in Crisis was a gigantic clusterfuck bomb that will completely destroy DC. Nobody liked it. Nobody read it. Nobody cared about it. That's why it was only the number 12 book of the month.
Which is weird. He likes everything.
Someone said Immortal Hulk. We have Immortal Hulk number 7. Oh, sorry, number 17 was the number 7 book of the month at 87,000
Marvel's got 2 characters.
Yep, there we go. That's a win for
Ryan,
Rob.
Ryan, okay, guys, can somebody explain to me why?
Yes. We talked about this last month, and I'll continue to talk about this here. So, Immortal Hulk has had a weird, a little late speculation boom, and they've gone back to press on every single issue multiple times, sometimes 5 or 6 times.
It was like that Spider-Man Deadpool stuff.
Now, I read the first 10. I thought it was fine. I don't remember anything about it. I will probably catch up at some point.
Why? I don't know. I do not get it.
I don't get it either. It's fine.
Since the Hulk came out, what year, Kevin? What was that? 62?
Yeah, I think so.
In 1962, there has been 2 good Hulk stories.
Stories or runs?
Stories.
Oh, wow. Peter David's story, which goes for 15 years.
If you count Peter David as one story.
No, I actually combined all this into one.
So that's
one
the second best worst Hulk book of all time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I pretty much only liked Future Imperfect and World War Hulk.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
You didn't like Planet Hulk?
Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay, 3. I just didn't like old Hulk.
So if you look what happened here, between issue 16, which came out last month, which had a huge boost because of speculation and store exclusive variant covers, right? Number 17 continued that, and there's not as many, but it still had some. If you look at the drop from 17 to 18, 18 is the number 13 book at 75,000. It's a drop of 12,000 copies between units. 17 had store exclusive covers. I believe 18 did too, but it was less. 18. The FOC for 18, our final time to order, issue 18, was before the number 16 shipped. Before 16 shipped. Yep. So we FOC'd 17 and 18 before number 16 shipped. 16 happened to be the issue that everyone skyrocketed their numbers on. And it was far from myself, because it was like, this book just keeps selling out and selling out and selling out.
It's like everybody
I just don't get it.
So every retailer skyrocketed their numbers for issue 16, and it stopped selling, right? I mean, I said it sells well, but nowhere near what I ordered, nowhere near what other retailers ordered. All the speculators stopped, right? So 17 and 18, I guarantee you, your store is stuck with a ton of copies, just like I am. Because I've talked with other retailers, it's happened to everyone. 19, so look for issue number 19 next month. It definitely won't be a top 10. It might not even be a top 20. But that is what's happening. Mm-hmm. Is it because of speculation, store exclusive?
What are they speculating on?
Dude, issue number 2 was like a $200 book.
Why?
Yeah, it's got some new villain in it. I don't remember his name. But apparently he's the villain of the series.
Guys.
That I remember nothing about.
Can the people that listen to the podcast please tell me why this is good?
Yeah. You'll have a thread of fucking Marvel stands telling you why this is the greatest comic of all time.
I don't know. I want to hear why they like it.
Yeah, me too.
To me, it's not bad. I like the sort of take on it. I don't...
Marvel Comics.
Here's
not
the way.
Bad.
Well, no, but here's the way I look at it.
Well, Charlie, what's the take?
I like the idea of basically the Hulk not being able to die and kind of turning that up from sort of the horror. I'm not a big fan of the everybody who's been gamma infused apparently can't die.
Yeah, because we have Immortal. I think this issue has Immortal. What's his face in it?
Immortal Big Head.
No, what's his name?
Anybody that listens and again,
Immortal Onslaught, Apocalypse. No, Abomination. Yeah,
that's what it just said.
The pseudo Abomination.
Yeah.
Please, when you go into tell
is it A-Bomb? Is it Immortal A-Bomb?
It's a weird combination of multiple abominations.
When are we going to get the Immortal Red Hulk?
Oh, so when you guys come and ask me,
Immortal Red She-Hulk,
when you tell me about Hulks and stuff,
she's already been in it.
You son
do not mention. I have a personal, just maybe an allergy to Red Hulk, She-Red Hulk.
Red She-Hulk.
Look,
what about Hulk Vereen?
Hulk Vereen, Weapon H Hulk things. I am allergic to them. Regular Hulk,
What about Hulk Leader?
So basically, they turned Hulk into like Resurrection Man kind of thing, where like every issue he was basically been killed and come back. And
well, see, Resurrection Man is cool because it comes back with a different power every time.
But
and that Hitman issue where he just keeps killing him. I need a good power.
And they tweaked the whole like the Hulk's only coming out at night. So it's like Banner during the day and Hulk.
So it goes into a horror
night.
movie.
Yeah.
So I can dig the horror part of it.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
about
that's the thing. They're kind of like turning up some of the horror elements of the book, which I like. I just, as I said, I don't like they've put too much emphasis on it's this way because anybody infused with gamma appears to be this way. It's not something unique to the Hulk's condition.
I can hear the editors now. You know what? Since we made Wolverine unkillable, he's been super popular. So let's make the Hulk unkillable too. And
Hulk is already unkillable.
In fact, let's make an unkillable Hulk-Verine also, because the fans will love that.
Wait, Hulk is already unkillable, so then you kill him, then you make the killed version unkillable.
But they've done really, as I said, they've turned up the horror theme. Like they've had Hulk's head in a jar still talking because he can't die.
I mean, he smothered that guy with his intestines.
Yes.
That's the only part of that book I remember. Yeah. Anyway, number 10 was Amazing Spider-Man.
So what slots do we still have to guess?
9 was Batman. 8 was Batman.
We're still on
7 was Hulk.
Charts.
6 was Spider-Man. 5 was Batman Who Laughs. Number 4, it's a Marvel comic. Ton of variant covers. Number 1.
Check.
Bunch of characters.
From the deep bench.
One character that is not a Marvel character.
Oh, you're talking about
Savage Avengers.
Which is pretty good. You read the first one,
I actually liked it. I actually was mocking it, sat down in the store, read it, and I was like, hey, Ryan, that was actually not that bad.
Yeah. Savage Avengers number
He's like,
1
what? Did you read
is the number 4 book at 111,000 copies.
Hey, did you read it?
Yeah, I did. Liked it.
Yeah,
I read the first issue.
It wasn't bad.
Last Night on Earth was number 3. Number 2. Come on. Favorite comic of the year.
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock number 10.
Same favorite comic of last year. And your favorite comic of the year before.
Wasn't that in June?
No.
No, that was the same week.
That was the last week of May when every other book was
everything else.
It was Heroes in Crisis, Doomsday Clock.
It was that fifth week, that fifth ship week.
Rising.
Yeah.
Last night.
I don't know when Doomsday Clock came out. It was a long time
shipping
ago.
week of all time.
Yeah, that was a loaded week.
Doomsday Clock number 10 was the number 2 book at 117,000 copies. And number 1, it's a DC comic book.
And it wasn't Doomsday Clock.
And it wasn't Batman.
And it wasn't Leviathan.
It technically was not Batman.
Oh, technically not.
Technically, it was not Batman.
With Batman shoved in it.
It's a DC Universe book, so of course Batman's in it, but it's not a Batman comic. Big book.
It's the
big book.
DC villain. You're the villain.
No. You're the Villain would be on this list, but it was a promotional comic. So no.
I didn't even get that. You didn't even put it in my box.
Yes, I did. We have boxes of them.
Dude. Jeez, you're so lazy.
Deceased number 1.
That was number 1 book?
242,000 copies.
I don't think I got that.
Deceased
did you put that in my
number
box?
1. Maybe. I don't know.
Did you order it on the hub?
I don't order anything on the hub.
Boy,
it
we
just
sold
shows up or not shows up.
Shitload of number 1s. A little less than number 2, but a shitload of number 1s. So yeah, big month for DC, and of course, yes, Batman is pretty prominent in a lot of these books. But let's Rob Liefeld, let's take a look at.
Let's see the bench. Let's see the Marvel bench.
Why don't we look at Deadpool? Well, Deadpool is the number 75 book at 26,000 copies. So I don't think you're going to change the industry selling 26,000 copies.
It's changed.
Let's take a look at X-Force, your other creation. X-Force number 7 and 8 is the number 109 and 112 book.
It's changed.
At 19 and 20,000 copies.
People can't live without it.
So,
You're hating.
I guess we just have to get rid of all the Batman comics.
What's funny is
I'll live on X-Force, and X-Force will be the number 1 book every month for Rob Liefeld.
Is Hawk and Dove isn't doing anything for DC.
Where's my Cable?
He did not invent
that's funny.
them.
Cable doesn't seem to have a comic book out this month. Rob Liefeld, where's your Cable comic book out?
I want to know where the Cable comic book is too.
By Liefeld.
I'd be fine with that.
Why do you got to pick on Cable?
I'm sorry, Rob Liefeld. Of course, we forgot about Major X, the book that will forever change the industry.
Yeah, give us a number on that.
31,000 copies for the number 61 book of the month. Number 3.
Oh, there's 3 out already?
Yeah.
He
only did the issue. He only did the cover the art for number 1.
Oh, that's why I didn't get the other ones, because I only support Rob.
I mean, Justice League.
I guess I'm gonna have to stop buying DC.
Superman, Leviathan Rising, which is a $10 book. Wonder Woman, Shazam, Naomi, a new comic. Look at that.
What number?
Spawn beat it. Naomi number 5.
Spawn beat it?
Catwoman beat it. Batman TMNT. Oh, that's a Batman comic. It doesn't count.
Yep.
Flash, Action Comics, Detective Annual, Green Lantern,
Batman.
Ding, ding, ding.
Superman.
Well, Superman has a cape, and so does Batman, so that counts.
The Outsiders,
ding, ding.
including The Outsiders and some other guy.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's Batman.
You're just digging a deeper hole here.
Where did number 1 hit on the list?
Detective Comics. Batman and the Outsiders. Number 1 is the number 24 book at 51,000 copies. Detective Comics featuring Arkham Knight.
They're going to have 2 Batman titles coming up soon with Batman and Catwoman.
Great segue into another topic. But we'll get there in a second. Let's talk about how...
Was that the cover art that they showed just recently? Because that looked really cool.
Let's talk about how bad the comic book industry did this month.
You mean in May?
In May, sorry. So this is actually something really interesting.
Didn't we get these numbers late?
Nope, these are on time.
Oh, they were on time.
The overall dollar amount... Marvel had 40.46%, DC had 28.22%, Image had 6.88%. Humongous month for Marvel over DC, right? 12% difference.
You're digging Marvel. You're digging DC's hole, right?
Now here's the overall unit share.
Okay.
Marvel is 39.75%, DC is 38.58%. That's quite close.
That hole, it's there.
Image is 5.53%. Now, this means... There's 2 reasons for this. One, you do have the DC Universe, the Year of the Villain special that is not counted on this list because it's a 25-cent comic. I was talking to the guy at Comic-Con. I don't know if he ever got an official answer if that's counted in the unit list. I think it is. So clearly a lot of, what is sell 500,000 copies of that or whatever, right? So clearly that adds into this being closer. But that is not the only thing, right? DC, let me get down on my full list here. In the top 300, okay, DC has 59 comics. Marvel has 124 books. They're publishing twice as many books, but the units sold are within a few points of each other. Meaning DC is producing half as many books, but they're selling
like double.
Almost double what the Marvel books are selling unit-wise.
I guess DC's going to have to just put out bunch of... They're going to have
crazy.
They're just going to have to get the bench rolling and just put out another 50 books. Sell like 100 bucks a piece.
Another 50 Batman books.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Batman and the Teen Titans.
Batman and the Doom Patrol.
Batman and Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at...
They should just do a Batman book like that. Just insert Batman into every single one of the books they have.
Let's see what happens.
Brave and the Bold. Batman only.
I was going to say, Marvel must have a ton of midline books, but they have a ton of books.
Batman and the Bold.
They have a ton of books in the top 50.
Batman is bold.
They have a ton of books in the top 50 to 100. They have a ton of books in 100 to 200. So when these books are like they have the 149 to 142nd books are all like Age of X-Men stuff, Shuri, True Believers. Like they have a shitload of books. They have books going down into the like sub 200 spots, which is just just unheard of in the past. So Marvel, I'm always of two minds of these things. One, thank God Marvel's putting out a shitload of books because God knows DC isn't. DC's not putting out anything, right?
Well, except for that 5th week.
But there's a lot. Well, no, they still weren't. I mean, a normal.
I know, but that 5th week was.
But you could have had 10. You could have had 6 more books out that week, and they all would have sold. Their normal copies. It's just that week was so stacked with big books. So Marvel's putting out a goddamn shitload of stuff, and the problem
their bench is bigger.
Well, and a lot of them just aren't really selling. But you take away the Age of X-Men stuff. You take away all the True Believers. You take away.
You can't take away that stuff.
All the War Realms.
Bench.
All the War
You can't
Realms.
take away their bench.
You're taking away stuff that's selling 12,000 copies.
I think he's talking about the True Believers.
Well, no, but also Age of X-Men, the War Realms miniseries that are selling sub number 150 on the charts. Stuff like why is
Giant Man #1?
Yeah, why are those these Marvel Tales? All these one shots. Like, why the fuck are you publishing this?
The Agents of Atlas,
because that's their bench. That's how they win, Ryan. That's how they win.
If DC
that's how they're going to stay afloat.
DC could put out 120 books a month too, and it would be the same thing. It would just push Image and Dark Horse out of the top 300 entirely at that point, right?
Image would still have Walking
Dead.
Marvel crap in a box.
I really kind of want to do
and a piece of poo. Starring.
I'd like to know how the True Believers stack up against new content books. Just in terms of units.
Yeah.
The Hulk 181 facsimile edition was like a top 20 book or something like that. So
that's
top
ridiculous.
30 buck. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I ordered a case of them.
Why?
I ordered more of that because it's Incredible Hulk 181. I've sold 100
You have
of them.
sold a lot of them.
It just sells. It's because the thing is, it's a reader copy. People don't want to read it. They don't want to.
No, they don't. This is what happens.
Yeah, they buy 6 of them and put them in a box.
They buy them. They find the best ones. They send them to CGC to get graded, and then they send 9.8. They sell 9.8 versions of this facsimile 181 for like $60.
I'm just waiting for the.
I don't know who's buying it for $60. Those guys are crazy.
10, 15 years down the road, when somebody brings in this Hulk 181 and says, "I have a Hulk 181,"
I'm waiting for it.
It's a facsimile. He's like, no, it's the actual.
We got
one.
second prints of the facsimile edition. The only thing that says it is the number 2 on the spine, so or the barcode. Yeah. Second prints of a reprint. So
why?
Because it's fucking Marvel, and they're like, we'll print anything at this point.
Why wouldn't they just keep printing the same one? Because it's the same one.
I'm looking at this from so many perspectives. Marvel puts out a ton of books.
Don't understand that.
But some of them sell well. A lot of them don't sell very well. They don't have 60 good creative teams, let alone 124 good creative teams. But nobody does. DC doesn't either. DC doesn't even have 60 good creative teams, right? I want to see the math from Marvel's end. Like, how does this work? But I guess if you're paying these guys nothing, because God knows the art and writing shit in a bunch of the titles, but if it's just putting books on the wall, fuck, Marvel does it. But half of this stuff doesn't even hit my wall. Half of this stuff doesn't hit in any wall. It's so bizarre.
It's the reason why the downfall of the modern comic book shop is crashing, because those poor fools that aren't paying attention to what they order are ordering the same amount for whatever X number of them, and they're putting them on the wall because they won't sell them. Yeah. And then they go out of business because they've got too high of a bill from Diamond and they can't pay it off. and they can't pay their rent, and then it's an endless circle down the drain.
It's crazy to me if people are looking at some of these books going like, yeah, I'll stock that long term. What? No. It's just no way. It's just no way.
Can you go to 125 to 150 and tell me what book you don't stock?
I absolutely can. Like if you like 125 down. Okay, Age of Conan, Belit. I didn't stock that. I mean, I stocked it for the shelf, but it's basically sell out. Marvel Team Up, basically sell through. Age of X-Man, by this point, I mean, we're sub only. Yeah. Domino Hotshot, a couple copies. Some of these I have a couple copies on the wall on Wednesday.
The wall, yeah.
But the idea is to sell out.
Yeah.
Right. Wolverine Long Night Adaptation, sell out. Age of X-Man, sub only. Or that's Prisoner X. Amazing Nightcrawler, sub only.
Prisoner X.
Inhumans actually does pretty good for us. Our numbers are a lot higher than a lot of these.
Wait, Inhumans?
Invaders. Did I say Inhumans?
Yeah, I was like, Inhumans has a book?
Wait, I thought they died.
Mr. and Mrs. X, I get like one or two shelf past the week. Marvel Comics Presents is all but sub-only at this point. Next Gen, sub-only. Apocalypse and the Extracts. Extremists, that's sub-only. Shuri, I get like maybe one or two spare. There's a couple True Believers, that's a little different. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, sub-only. I mean, it's more True Believers, more True Believers. And Ironheart is all but sub only. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are.
So
True
you're
Believers.
just sub only on a lot of that bottom end.
Defenders, yeah.
But how many shops do you think the shops are? I mean, I was making fun of it earlier, but do you think some of the shops are digging themselves a hole?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
if you by ordering,
the thing is think about it. I mean, you
10 copies.
You listed almost 15 titles there, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is a lot of those X books, they would keep 5 to 10 copies, and if you have 10 of those and you're stocking 10 copies, you're sitting on 100 issues that aren't selling.
Yep.
Like, that's what
my number is. I'll go an okay number on a lot of number ones, right? And not these shitty miniseries, right? But a lot of regular number ones will order decent number one. I base number two roughly. I order what I sold of number one. So if I order 50 number ones of a book and I sell 35, I'll generally order 35 number twos because you know there's going to be drop off from that. Yeah. And then from 3 and on, it's like, okay, there's cases like Secret Avenger, or Savage Avengers, where we didn't sell great the first week, but a rare case where I sold a shitload on week 2, 3, and 4, and by the time 2 came out, we're out of the first prints at number 1. I sold out, right? But number 2, I said, okay, I think I cut a little too low, and then the reorder came in, and now I have too many. So it's like, I should have just stuck with what I've originally ordered. Yeah, without it. So, but what are you going to do? But a lot of these books, that number 2 number, really, that's going to be your more true number, right? Number 1s are weird and inflated. Like Black Cat, I sold a crap load of number 1s. We got way too many, but I'll still sell that Artgerm cover.
It's a really nice cover.
But by number 2, I cut number 2 way down.
If there's not an Artgerm cover, it's not going to. I mean, no. I bought Black Cat number 1 because of the cover and have not read it.
And Black Cat number 1 will absolutely be a top 10 book. Probably be a top 2.
Oh, come on! Give us a prediction here. This is technically a Spider-Man comic. Just like Catwoman is just like Catwoman is a.
I can see Black Cat being the number 1 book of June.
Really?
I could. Yeah, I can see Black Cat.
It sold that well, or was it Artgerm that pushed it?
Artgerm cover, J. Scott Campbell cover, 1 in 500 Virgin J. Scott Campbell cover, 1 in 200 Virgin Artgerm cover. Yeah, it sold that well. Here's a case where the eBay prices on Wednesday were like a quarter of what they should be, quote unquote. I think everyone ordered a shitload of them, right? So that makes a lot of people, I'll speak for myself, that makes me scared for number 2, so I probably cut my number 2 too far, right?
Well, no. What about Walking Dead 192?
Well, that's different. We'll talk about that next month. So, yeah, these are sales charts for May. Weird month.
Did you do the dollar amount?
But DC's going out of business, so it doesn't matter. Who cares? Right. Yeah. Yep, it's all over. Yep. There you go. And I trust Rob Liefeld to know exactly. the best publishing.
He has his finger on the pulse.
I'm pretty sure, he started a third Kickstarter that he still hasn't given stuff for. Yeah, and people are like,
"What's he kickstarting for? The fucking downfall of Marvel?
Just another another shitty Youngblood reboot or something?"
Me in DC's downfall.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know people were
tweeting on it.
People were yelling at him like there's like yet another thing that he hasn't fulfilled his Kickstarter on.
How old's Rob now?
Got to be late 40s. Well, that's the sales charts. Let's talk about Brian Michael Bendis. Oh, wait, no, we were going to talk about Batman. We're talking about Batman.
Again?
Yeah. I don't know what I can say about this. I'm just going to say it. That's fine. So Tom King tweeted out an image earlier today.
Oh, loved it.
Of not just the Batman Catwoman cover.
Oh, I didn't
But it's more than that. It's Batman and Catwoman reflecting in the blade of Phantasm. Mm-hmm. The Batman animated series villain.
Really?
Turned DC character, right?
Very cool.
To the best of my knowledge, Phantasm has not been in any of the main Marvel or the DC regular comics.
Yeah, none of the main stuff. Like appeared in like the Batman Beyond comic.
Right. But not the DC Universe comic.
That's really cool.
Well, not the DCU
Phantasm
proper.
and
the kids DC it's been in.
Well, no, I'm just saying because they keep dangling in Batman Beyond had a Rebirth title and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not DC current timeline.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
The speculator's going to be on this. You better like quadruple your order.
Just Batman Catwoman #1. I'm going to order a shitload of it because it's the only thing keeping DC in business. So here's
we can milk this.
and every internet troll's favorite Batman movie.
Hopefully, no one that actually works at Warner Brothers listens to this, and
Phantasm?
DC doesn't listen to this. But I'll say it anyway.
I'm not going to say
not?
just trolls. That's a great movie.
It is a good movie.
So the DC Retailer Forum posted this image today, right? Tom King, as of this recording, Tom King tweeted this and put this on Facebook 5 hours ago, and it is still up.
Thanks, Tom.
The DC Retailer Forum posted it and then took it down and said, oops, never mind, that was fake. And we're like, well, does Tom King know that that's fake? Because he posted this on his Facebook and on his Twitter account, and they're like, no, that image is not real. We're deleting this entire thread. And I'm like, guys.
Is it gone now?
No. I mean, the DC Retailer one is. It's still on Tom King's page. Guys, look. We know when you break embargo. We know when this shit happens. You don't just... You've got it. Yeah, Scott's got it. You know, guys, look, DC... I mean, no pun intended. The cat's out of the bag. You just roll with it.
No, I love it.
You just roll with it.
I love it when they just go, oh, no, that's not it.
And then tomorrow morning.
It gets everybody worked up. They should not say anything now
I'm
for
just
a few days.
This right now.
And maybe
Khan is definitely not the villain.
then slowly start easing out stuff. Like, to have people just start leaking it on act and have them pull it down and leak it out and pull it down and leak it out and pull it down.
Doesn't this sound like a company swirling the drain?
It does.
No, you want to know.
I'm all into it.
You want to know what a fucking asshole does? I'll tell you what a fucking asshole does. A fucking asshole named Brian Michael Bendis over the weekend just like, hey, Legion of Superhero fans.
I saw that too.
And then we're like.
And that was it.
And.
Yes. Hello.
And then the next day he's like.
You mean during our previous recording, he did that?
And then like a day later, he's like, animated gift for the Legion of Superheroes, and everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then a few days later, more Legion of Superhero stuff. People are like, why do you keep doing this? And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, DC Millennium? Like, yeah?
Pay attention to that.
What is this? We're not going to tell you. Why not? So we have Tom King tweeting a fake cover for his own comic.
Yes.
And Brian Michael Bendis not talking about the Legion of Superhero comic he's writing that will be announced Thursday morning through Entertainment Weekly because that's what Warner Brothers does.
I love this stuff though. This is how you just get it out there. Get it out there. Let these guys leak this.
I'm just having fun going. It would really, really amuse me if that Phantasm cover was a like store exclusive cover where like the person just loved the Phantasm and wanted to
just put it on there. People would be so pissed at Tom King.
It hasn't even been solicited yet.
You thought they would be mad at him for not having Batman marry Catwoman?
Oh, they're mad at him right now.
And they're mad at him now. And oh my gosh. You know what they should do with that first Batman?
Oh, people
Catwoman
are losing
issue?
their mind about the Phantasm.
They should actually have that number one. Have him get married.
And
people would be like,
Phantasm's
he's not even in it.
Like,
He's not even in it.
The first page should be the end of the wedding. That they have just like that's the opening of the story.
People are like, wait, what happened to the rest of this?
No, they just say, we did, and then we walk out, right?
See Batman 50 for the rest of the story.
Is there a book called Millennium?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Remember the old Millennium?
Yeah, God,
DC with the Manhunters, right?
So that's what Bendis is doing something with the Legion of Superheroes and something called DC Millennium.
So that old Millennium was basically DC's Secret Invasion.
Right. Yeah.
Back in the day.
The Manhunters had all taken over a different person in every book.
So every book had a Manhunter, yeah.
There was some preview art.
It was garbage.
It was not that good.
We're all like...
The rumor is Bendis is doing Legion of Superheroes with Ryan Sook, which is let me rephrase that. He's doing Legion of Superheroes with Ryan Sook for 2 issues until someone fills in for the next 17.
Right. With Ryan Sook covers.
With Ryan Sook covers.
Yeah.
Because I love Ryan. I love Ryan Sook, but
there's no Batman.
But when was the last time that dude did 3 issues in a row?
I love Ryan Sook's
He's amazing,
art.
but he just doesn't do ongoing.
I think the last thing he did ongoing was Wednesday Comics.
That's not ongoing.
I like
but you know what I mean.
Those are all like specialty.
That wasn't even a full fucking.
But that was like a mini series.
Yeah,
but it wasn't even a full comic.
I mean, if you want him to do 6 issues a year and then you rotate 6 and 6, 6 and 6, I'm all for it. But he's not doing more than that. No way. Millennium. There's a little Commandy in the preview art they show, like Commandy look and feel, but it's like we don't know. We have no clue what's going on. So I don't know. But I'm sure immediately after finishing this podcast, we'll know.
Yeah, Bendis will.
And we'll have to stop and
I figured it out. The Legion's going to be rebooted, but now they're going to get all their inspiration from Batman instead of Superman.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
And that will save the DC universe.
Charlie, that's brilliant.
And it will just increase DC sales.
Just know that they're just going to retcon it. Batman was behind it all.
So wait, is it so we just found out that Superman is the point of origin for the metaverse. Are we changing it to Batman now?
No. Superman is the point, but it was because of Batman.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We do have to say, to Bendis's credit,
Batman's going to turn out to blew up Krypton.
He's behind Rogal Zor.
That actually is Batman, like a big suit.
It is.
He's had a nice variety of Legion pulls.
Yeah.
Like from all over the different versions.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the Legion of the Fifth World.
And here's the new Legion of Superheroes, Miller. He's a writer, Mark Miller. So,
and Ryan
yes.
Gun.
It would be so good. They'd be so violent.
I want the listeners to know.
They'd be edgy, Ryan.
They'd be edgy.
I have one of these poison pill questions for Ryan.
Well, mine's not a poison pill.
Okay.
So hold on. I want the listeners to know how much Ryan has just been seething at Brian Michael Bendis for the past day and a half of just like.
Unfortunately, Nintendo was taking me off.
He's been distracted a little bit.
Yeah.
But when Nintendo isn't distracting him, he's like, "Fucking Michael Bendis, give me what I need."
Yeah, he's seething, but he's got happy feet underneath that seething.
Okay, here we go.
I just want to know.
Legion, you can pick the team. Okay, whichever characters you want.
Jeez, okay.
Would you rather have it written by Mark Miller and drawn by an artist you like, or written by a writer you like and drawn by Romita Jr.?
You know what you should have said?
His head just exploded.
You know what you should have said?
It melted a little bit.
You know what you should have said? It can be written by Mark Millar and a fantastic artist, or it can be written by Bendis, Tom King, Johns, anybody, but the artist is Rob Liefeld. That's where you should have gone with it.
No, I actually think Romita could do an okay Legion. I think if he said it,
look at him. Ryan tried to keep a straight face.
Well, no, hold on.
He's not even looking at anybody at the table when we're talking.
I know he's literally staring at his water bottle while he's saying this.
I'm trying to convince myself.
Hold on. To Ryan's credit, the inker colorist on the Captain America stuff, when he went to that the other dimension. Remember when they relaunched it with him doing it?
Not very good either.
But the inker made it look at least passable in that book.
It's Scott Williams on it or something like that. Maybe
if the inker was Jim Lee and he decided to just draw over all the characters,
get Scott Williams to do it, and it'll just look like Jim Lee, and then that's totally fine. Yes, I'm okay with Bendis and Jim Lee on Legion of Superheroes. Yes, that'd be perfect.
Oh no, we're gonna get the Jim Lee variant for every Legion character.
Again, I have the other ones. I'm totally down with that. One last thing to talk about here. This is
is it Batman related?
No, it's dude. This is Funko Pop related. This is how unexpected this is.
Oh yeah, did you order? Did you hit the buy button?
I'm not a big Funko fan.
No, you're not.
However, I have been put in a precarious position of never buying Funko.
Is it a Legion of Superheroes box set? Funko style? That would be pretty sweet.
Me.
If they did Legion of Superheroes Funko Pops, he'd be fucked.
Like in a whole long box?
Never buy Funko, but also buy everything related to Rich Rider Nova. Okay, this is my conundrum. All right.
Just get it already.
That look on Kevin's face.
Just get it.
So there's a previous... No, hold on. No. There's more to this. There's a previous exclusive Rich Rider Nova Funko Pop figure coming out.
Yes, you tweeted this over the weekend.
Yes. Now, there's more to it than this. Now,
how is there more to it? It's
you like Funko, you don't like Funko, whatever. This goes all out to my NW boys, my New Warrior boys, all right?
Yeah.
If you're a Nova fan, you're a hardcore fan, you want to be on the lookout for this because this is to my knowledge, and I've talked to my Funko guys, they said they've never heard this before. My knowledge is the first time they're doing this. There's going to be a box topper for a case of these figures.
What's a box topper?
So if you buy a case, a sealed case, you will get a additional item. The store that will get an additional item with this. And in this case, it is a variant cover for the current Guardians of the Galaxy book, but it is one of Funko's recreations of classic covers, and it's a recreation of the first issue of Nova, the first miniseries issue, right? With the Funko figure, right?
This is getting really convoluted.
So if you are New Warrior Nova guy, and you're a Funko guy, you may want to ask your store about that box topper because I've seen some crazy prices already on the secondary market. So you might want to ask your LCS, hey, can you hook me up?
Are we getting one?
Now, if you ask Comics Conspiracy, they're going to say, sorry, unfortunately, we're not able to provide that one for you at this time because it's spoken for.
So are you just going to be like, if you order a case from us of the Funko
If you order
Pop,
a case, you absolutely will get one.
What is in the case of Funko Pops?
6 Funko Pops.
Of what? Just the
Rich Rider Nova. Yeah.
Just 6 of them?
Yep.
which...
we
assuming
are
the cover is as crazy
them.
as you made it sound, that's probably the cheaper way to get it.
It's basically the cost of that, right? Yeah. So it's like $75 to $100 is what I've seen people asking for it, and a case of 6 would be $66, full retail plus tax. So $75, right? So there's your.
So are you going to get a pre-sale for the case up on the Comics Conspiracy?
I don't know, maybe.
You're telling us you have 6 of these and you got to figure out what to do in your house with them.
I'm just saying there may be 5 Rich Rider Nova figures and no variant cover here for sale when this releases in a few months. So
now, quick question: did you get the Death Pop?
So get your
I didn't.
Why?
No.
What?
That's cool
because it's not Rich Rider Nova.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of Sandman shit out there, and I have it all. New Warriors?
He's got it all.
Everyone?
Oh, God.
To the best of my knowledge, there is one figure I had. I had the Fantastic Four Supernova figure, which is Rich Rider. My good friend Kevin, not you, borrowed it for his back in the...
Vetus?
Yes. No, that's me.
What's the other one?
What's
his name?
Rollis.
No, what's his DJ name?
Kevin.
That was it?
DJ he's a terrible DJ. No, he's actually a great DJ.
He's a good DJ.
But funny name.
I've seen you guys once.
Yeah.
One time.
But we've stopped. We're done.
Borrowed your figure.
He borrowed my figure for his Toy Fair-like pre-internet like filming on like a camera, pre-cell phone, a Toy Fair theater he would do, and I never got it back. So there you go.
So what do our listeners
I have an eBay watch for that because I just don't want to pay like $80 for it because that's what it goes for. But I'll find a loose one day and go in the collection. But as far as I know, I have every other New Warriors thing that's ever been produced past that.
So you have a New Warriors museum? Is what you're telling us?
I have a shelf, which is everything that's ever been produced, as far as I know.
Do you get like Night Thrasher stuff too?
The one Night Thrasher figure that's been made, I have. The one Rage figure, 2 Darkhawk.
Does Toby have all that stuff too?
He has a lot of them. He got the Night Thrasher one too. Yeah, that's recent. That's Marvel Legends.
I would have been surprised if you had told me a day ago that the 2 people sitting at this table tonight who have Funko items on order would be you and me. I would not have.
What do you have on order?
Brock just ordered them for me.
I just put an order for
What was it?
They are doing an incredible looking set of the first appearance Submariner and Human Torch, the Golden Age versions.
They're doing
in Funko Pop?
Yeah, 80th anniversary
Really?
Funko Pop.
They look
That
really
sounds
good.
super cool.
Yeah.
And do you have any other Funko Pops?
I have a few.
What do you got? Give me
Lane gave me the Superman #1, where he's in the Golden Age costume. I have the Audrey Horne Twin Peaks, and I have the Count from Sesame Street.
Nice.
I only have Bob Ross.
Is Deadpool Bob Ross or real Bob Ross?
Regular Bob Ross. I wouldn't get a Deadpool Bob Ross.
You sure?
Yes.
We have a bunch of questions. Before we get to those questions, Kevin, did you have something you wanted to talk about?
Oh, you want to do it before questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, doing it before questions.
So the topic is Iron Man 3.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's super cool.
Oh, sorry,
Scott's referring to the photos right now.
Oh, that's super cool.
Iron Man 3.
Wait a second.
I'd have to get Beetle. I'd have to get Beetle.
Hold on. I just noticed the base on that Human Torch. That's cool.
I'd have to go get the Beetle and Booster Gold though, because that's the other one that I was like, that's really cool.
I got it.
So we will keep this short and tight to get to listener questions. I just wanted to bring up, thanks to the endless trolling at this table, I just rewatched Iron Man 3 for the first time since theatrical.
How do you like it?
Well, I'm staring at the man in the Nintendo shirt.
Ryan's not
ready
paying
for
attention.
it. I'm ready for it.
Here's what I would say in general. The worst MCU movie, I would grade maybe a C-. I don't find any of them bad. I just find some of them dull.
Hulk?
Anybody who would call Iron Man 3 an F is just trolling.
I'm pointing to Ryan.
I would grade this.
Pointing at me.
It averages to an F.
Yes. So it's the 4th worst.
It's a B for most of it, or it's a B for half of it, and then a Z for half of it. So,
it is the 4th worst Marvel movie.
If you count all of the Captain Americas as one movie, and all of the Iron Mans as one movie.
Okay, Kevin. Okay.
That's the last time I'll say it. No, you know what struck me this time, and we don't need to get into it. Spoilers for Iron Man 3.
We don't need to put that tag.
Well, just...
You never know. Ryan spoils enough stuff with it.
I think that what struck me... Because I saw... A lot of it I remembered, but a lot of it was seeing it fresh. What was that, 2009? 10? Something like...
Iron Man 3 was 2013.
Oh, yeah. What am I saying? The whole thing started in 08. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It was the first movie after Avengers. So you're also coming off of
I would put this in the middle of the pack, low B, fun parts, less fun parts. We don't need to go into all the details, but what really I would call out is I know some people here at the table have objections to certain aspects of it. I think the Mandarin thing is a good idea. But I think that could be its own movie, and I think the Extremist could be its own movie, and I just don't think they go together.
No.
And it just is very kind of sloppy in a lot of parts, and very just kind of it's like somebody telling a really, 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 really long joke with not that good of a punchline. There's too much.
Well, you had a great example of that in.
That's fair. Ryan's comment is not
in Iron Man 3 with him, reaching out and the stuff in his, the gauntlet, like the thing coming to his wrist. Like he kept doing that throughout the movie, and you're like, okay, I get it. It's my trifecta of third movie, kid, and kid.
unintentional and bad comedy. It's like just bad, forced, out of place comedy. It's like just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
and the thing is what was the villain in it? What's the name of just his regular name?
The extremist leader. I can't. Well, that should be a comedy. Yeah, I can't. Guy Pearce. We'll just call him Guy Pearce.
He's kind of just a recycled Hammer from Iron Man 2. But this time we're saying, because he was ugly and crippled and now he's trying to get back at Tony. It's just...
It's just if it was a military organization is using a fake terrorist in order to consolidate power and money...
Even if it was just a terrorist organization...
No, but I'm saying, like, I don't even have a problem with the Mandarin twist. I like the idea of reintroducing it. What did they do it in, Charlie? The short film where they... introduced like a real Mandarin. Wasn't it on one of the DVDs?
Yes, it was on one of the DVDs. I think it was on Thor 2, maybe?
Yeah. I have no problem with that. It was funny watching it this time. There's a scene at the Tony Stark's house where he looks out and you see these missiles flying in before the whole house blows up. I'm like, whoa, shit, I had totally forgotten that in Endgame. Like the same scene, just with a spaceship instead of helicopters. And anyway... Like I said, we don't need to go deep into it. I would much rather have seen the Mandarin storyline as the only villain storyline because the Extremist was just way less interesting to me. Seeing Pepper in a suit was way less interesting to me.
Well, the thing is, I like for me, the biggest rewatching it and even seeing it the first time, the hardest part for me watching it was, again, I liked the Extremist storyline. Like, I like that storyline. I like them, the idea of the Mandarin. But like you said, they don't go together well in this movie. And the Mandarin by itself as this kind of puppet character would have, I would have been like, wait, that's not the Mandarin. But we didn't even get a real Mandarin in the movie.
Which I think you would have if that had been the only story.
And that's the thing is, if that was kind of a twist at the end,
yeah,
right, that would have been better. But again, going back to what Ryan said, the kid is... Why? And the dialogue he has with the kid is it's like reading bad Grant Morrison. It's so choppy.
Whoa.
Ryan's not even paying attention.
I just fucking pay attention. Did you see how I'm trying to get him off of his phone?
He's tweeting right now.
No,
sorry.
He's checking Bendis' feed. Or Liefeld's feed. Liefeld's feed. Anyway, we can wrap it there. I just wanted to say I think you guys who are calling it an F and the worst Marvel movie are just in some serious troll mode. There are good things in this movie. It is not entirely successful, but
are awesome.
An F to me means nothing works.
You're talking about the king of the trolls, Ryan Higgins.
I agree it's not an F. I am curious what you would rate lower than it. If
The Dark World, just without rewatching that since theatrical.
Yeah.
That's again, my worst one would be in the low C range. So I'm not having to dig too deep. I would give Iron Man 3 maybe a B-.
So, I mean, I like Dark World more than Iron Man 3, but I think I have more issues with the Mandarin thing just because that, for me, it purely comes from
you come with baggage that you like the Mandarin.
Exactly. I come with baggage of I wanted the Mandarin in one of those movies since even the first Iron Man when they hinted towards the Mandarin.
Because he's essentially Iron Man's only real villain.
For me...
the Crimson Dynamo, come on.
So for me, Iron Man 3 ranks as the bottom for me. The last one. Yeah. Above that is Thor Ragnarok, and above that is Guardians 2.
You're wrong. You're just so wrong.
But... because to me these movies have interesting things in them that I like some things in it, but overall the movie doesn't work as a whole because there's aspects of it like in Iron Man 3 the Extremist and the Mandarin thing don't work. There's this convoluted stuff with the post-traumatic stress stuff with Tony that I think again I get what they were going with, but they didn't execute it properly.
I thought the stress stuff with Tony, I remember being well done in Iron Man 3, considering he had just died.
I would, without rewatching it again, though, I would rank Iron Man 2 lower than this for a lot of the same reasons. A lot of just kind of disparate parts that don't quite fit together, that never quite gel, just a bunch of scenes that don't feel like a coherent story.
So I will say this. overall, there is none of the Marvel movies that I think I regret seeing in the theater and that I regret buying. It's not like there's any, regardless of what you grade them, I enjoy them all on some level.
I agree with that.
Thor Ragnarok and Iron Man 3 were the last two Marvel movies I bought because I just...
You didn't have to.
I didn't have to, but...
Shaking my head at you right now.
Let's go to some questions.
We got some questions.
Hey, did Brian Michael Bendis give us any info?
We'll get to that in a second. Indie Gator asks...
Oh, I just answered a Craig question. Why is Iron Man 3 good? Go.
Who is everyone's favorite Tier 2 Marvel and DC villains? For me, it's Taskmaster and Brother Blood. Okay. Did that. So no Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And no Rocket Racer.
That's like
a D list.
Well, much like
Arcade in Marvel. Unless do you think Arcade is NA?
That might be down a little bit further.
I love Arcade. When Arcade's done right, Arcade is really good. When Arcade's done, you think he's a C or a D?
He's pretty low.
What about Sauron?
Sauron's pretty down there too.
Why you gotta hate on the X-Men?
I'm not hating on the X-Men.
I bet Ryan thinks Sinister is a B-list villain.
Mr. Sinister,
he totally
Sinister?
Does right now.
I would put Mr. Sinister on like that. I mean, okay.
Oh gosh, Ryan.
A is Magneto, Apocalypse, Onslaught, Brotherhood. Like Sinister, yes. Sinister is like the next tier down.
Are the Shi'ar villains or are they misunderstood?
See, we're going to get
heroes?
into splitting hairs here. That's not tier 2. That's tier 3.
Would a nihilist be?
For FF, I think, yeah.
For me, it'd be a nihilist.
That's a good call.
That's a good one
for Marvel.
I'm going to pick for DC Solomon Grundy.
I give him B-list status. Yeah. He
was on the Super Friends. That's why I'm elevating him.
He's thinking about
he's on the Super Friends.
I just think that's a cool villain.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's kind of one-dimensional. I just think he's cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be the answer almost.
I like How about Terrax?
Well, I love
Terrax, but
he's not even B. He's pretty
what?
Low. He's low. I mean, he's Flash's A villain, but he's not in DC Universe A villain. I mean, it's always going to be Reverse Flash for me. I love Reverse Flash. Yeah. But again, he's been in major events, but he's not. Again, he's Flash's. Level 1 a villain, but I don't think he
you know what?
count.
I got to take back Solomon Grundy. You just inspired me. My favorite Batman villain is the Riddler, and that's not. I wouldn't put him as an A.
Yeah, sure.
There's my pick.
Yeah,
there's my
Riddler's
pick.
Great.
Riddler's awesome.
I love the Riddler. Got to have the green leotard though. I don't want any cap and sport jacket.
I don't know, DC from Marvel, right under
Charlie.
there?
You're so quiet. Are you thinking?
He's thinking.
Well,
you know why Charlie's
Omega
quiet?
Red.
See,
I like Omega Red.
I'll give you Omega Red.
Good.
Yeah.
And wait, you're not going to give him Omega Red's a C-list villain.
He's a big villain. Masters of Evil.
Who is Hellfire Club a B-list or a C-list?
I'd say Hellfire Club is A-list for X-Men. Yeah. I'd say they're right up top. Masters of Evil. I think they're.
The one with Zemo and the Black Knight.
I like those villains a lot.
I think Baron Zemo's
I like Baron Zemo. Yeah. Zemo. I really
just
like
under
Zemo.
those A guys. Yeah, I like Zemo a lot. He's good.
Yeah, could be a big threat, but never really took the top spot in any the big crossovers or major events. I do like that.
Yeah, he's not the Red Skull.
Right. Red Skull is that A. Yeah.
Zemo is the B.
Right.
Okay. Well, if you can pick a team, then.
Well, but they come as a team.
I'm picking the Squadron Sinister.
Yeah, that's fine.
For Marvel.
So
because Fearsome 5 is not even.
So is the Hobgoblin a B?
I'd say he's B status for Spider-Man. I like Hobgoblin.
I like Hobgoblin a lot. So he's my favorite Spider-Man B.
Yeah. Anything else?
I feel like Spider-Man just has a massive number of Bs.
Yeah,
can I just pick the Gotham City Sirens?
Spider-Man A's are green.
No, unfortunately, Harley, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman are A-list.
Yeah, he's got a million Bs. The Lizard, you just go on the B list for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I would assume. Do you guys agree that Spider-Man's A's are Goblin and Ock?
Yeah.
This
is Venom.
This is a weird one. This is a weird one.
Carnage.
What's Maxwell Lord? Would
good
you put
guy.
him as B?
In my world, Maxwell
it's
Lord
like-
is a good guy and the leader of the.
He's weird. I don't know where I'd put him. That's a tough one.
He's been different things at different times. I mean, he's been a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like.
But that Generation Lost stuff was
Oh yeah,
really good.
he's really good.
Craig, I'm going to give you an honorable mention that's not a tier 2, but Kanjar Row.
Oh yeah.
With the wand, gotta have
down.
the wand.
Yeah.
Like
His bug eyes.
Can we say Kite Man now? 'Cause of Tom King?
Hell yeah. Jonathan asks, theories about what Brian Michael Bendis has planned for DC Millennium. We talked about that. Also, is Leviathan of Event Leviathan, is he Gim Alon, who is Colossal Boy from the Legion of Superheroes, who at one point did go by the name Leviathan. And I think in the 3 boot, I want to say that's when he went by that name. And then Brian Michael Bendis liked this tweet. So Gim Alon confirmed as Leviathan and Event Leviathan is both Legion Superhero. Nah, he did like it, but
that would be really cool.
I wouldn't see that at all. Why would
see
Colossal Boy?
Boy, you'd have to do some real narrative twisting.
Right,
to get
you'd have to really work around to get that one. Because he is a good guy in the future.
I do not believe Colossal
Boy.
Boy.
Say Martha at the same time.
I don't believe Colossal Boy is the Leviathan.
That would be surprising. You could say that.
That Superman Leviathan Rising one shot was real good.
Yeah, it is.
That was well worth anybody on the fence about the $9.99 cover. You get a lot of story in that.
So I was excited about the Greg Rucka Lois Lane book, and now I am hyped.
Yeah.
That's a good preview in there.
You sound like the little kids.
It's really
Hyped.
good.
Well, do you think Bendis is going to shake up the Legion that we know?
Yeah, I think that's
Who
what
is
he
the-
does.
Who is the Legion we know, though?
No, but we've gotten Legion of Superheroes in the future, and it's all it's against it's xenophobia. They're going up against xenophobia and all this stuff. Do you think it's going to be more of it's not a utopia or a nice technology is advanced to make people comfortable and all this stuff. Do you think it's going to be more like dystopian?
That was the 5 year later, right?
Yeah.
That was
that was the 80s.
The post crisis reboot.
That was the Keith Giffen one. Boy, I hope not.
That's the stuff I haven't had a chance to read yet.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. A lot of fans hate that run. I like that run, but I really like the Legion, like the Jetsons future, sparkling.
Well,
gleaming.
John
The only thing I don't like about Legion is the fact that they seem to vote like every other issue.
That goes back to the 50s, man. I mean, voting for the leader.
Issue.
Voting for the leader.
Well, before you go to the next question, I will say this. Having read it now, Doomsday Clock 10, having read Heroes in Crisis, and knowing all of these Bendis, I'm doubling down. We're never going to know. I'm doubling down on my guess that Doomsday Clock 10 was done and sitting, waiting, all those 1 week at a time delays. That's not because the issue wasn't done. That's because they were trying to line up timing with some other things.
I believe it. I believe it.
Really?
Well, you're not going to have them, Dan Didio, calling them up every week and going, hey, you guys done yet? No? Okay, we'll push it back again. Hey, you done yet? Nope. Okay. Like a week-by-week delay is just not something that a publisher does. It's like steering a cruise ship.
Yeah.
There's too many other parts.
Well, with the information that we got from Doomsday Clock 10, yeah, I can see it. I can see it lining up.
Well, and there was even in Heroes in Crisis, wasn't there there was a Doomsday Clock reference in there with Firestorm. He's talking about learning about Professor Stein, what we find out in Doomsday Clock. It's like vague, but that seems to be implying that we're going towards that.
But seriously, his head's on fire.
Yeah, he's great. John at the Eisner-nominated store Big Bang asks, Ryan, where the fuck are my keys? I replied, have you checked the chandelier that is in your Eisner-nominated shop? And he said, I found them. They were in my new cauldron. So he posted a picture of a large cauldron he has in his store. Now, look, I'm just saying this because this was on the thread, but I'm saying this because if a comic book store in Dublin, Ireland with a chandelier cannot win the Eisner Award for Best Comic Book Store, what chance does little old me have But that's still okay because I'm going to Comic-Con, and hopefully we'll at least be in the top 5. If not, it was nice to be nominated.
Are you going to do a
meetup?
Get
a fucking chandelier.
Where would I put a chandelier? It would hang in the middle of the store.
I gotta hang that shit. I don't want to deal with that.
Dude, you're man enough to hang a chandelier.
Hang it. It's fine. I just don't want to. I mean, we have somebody
Do you want to win
wiring
a prize or not?
No, just imagine there's a chandelier above the tiles.
Ryan, you're just going to be ripping off Big Bang.
I'll give you a chandelier. Give me a ladder and a Sharpie,
I'll
Tom King one.
I'm going to get a fountain in here. Okay?
Get a chocolate fountain.
There you go. A bronze statue of me, just like
I think
with chocolate flowing from your rear,
looking into the sky.
Because the bronze statue is not going to help me. I'm sorry. But a chocolate fountain, on the other hand, would help your customers and make you a better shop.
We still need that Instagram.
There'd be chocolate all over the back issues. There's chocolate on the back
small
issues.
child fingerprint, brown fingerprints.
Everywhere. Gotta get rid of this.
You have to have that fountain roped off, like in a velvet rope area in the front where VIPs only.
So Ulysses, I believe the one true Ulysses.
Do you have a pull box in here?
Not the email Ulysses.
Oh,
this
is the Ulysses of Earth 1.
Yes.
Okay.
He says, what two characters from Marvel and DC you want to see crossover? Mine are Nightwing or Batman and Daredevil. So Nightwing, Batman.
Batman's
nobody had
that Batman Daredevil almost happened. Was that I want to say the early 90s? No, before that.
Oh.
There was a Frank Miller.
Oh, like old school.
Old school one.
Like X-Men Titans era.
Yeah.
I think Bagley did the Batman Daredevil later one.
Doctor Strange and Constantine.
That'd be cool. That'd be nice.
See, before you said Nightwing, I was Spider-Man and the Teen Titans.
Can we pick from any era?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to go with original X-Men and original Doom Patrol.
Okay. I want Legion of Superheroes and Days of Future Past X-Men.
Oh.
Let's see those guys. Two very different futures.
Can you imagine Beast Boy and Spider-Man hanging out?
I can.
Yeah, that book you just pitched could have one of those where you divide them up in smaller teams.
Yeah,
like some of the Legion are in the
dystopia. They're going off.
The Sentinel's future.
Yeah.
Colossal Boy punching a Sentinel.
Hey. Brock, who do you like?
I'm trying to think, like team up wise.
That is the question.
No, like team up.
Yeah, that still is the question.
Still the question. Still the question.
Well, do you want to think of it while I ask the next question?
Would you like?
No, I'd like to see Booster Gold and Blue Beetle crossover with Logan and Spider-Man.
Old Man Logan?
It doesn't matter. He can.
I don't think Wolverine would stand for those guys for very long.
That's the best part.
Tim said, "What are your 3 current top Marvel comics?" Tim wants to know current.
Your favorites?
Sure, yeah, right now. What are you reading? Scott, you've been reading. You've been catching up on a few books.
I've been catching up on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank God Bryce isn't here because it'd be
going
like
for the wall. That's
everything.
Why I ask, yeah.
Obviously, Amazing Spider-Man is number 1. The Hunted was very good.
Okay.
Even I didn't love the HU. I had a conversation with Marshall about it, and he's like, but the .hu ones didn't have Spider-Man in it. I'm like, yeah, but it's still part of the story.
Yeah.
The Lizard is part of the Spider-Man lore and the story. Spider-Man doesn't have to be in the issue. I don't need the .hus. But Amazing Spider-Man, I have loved. I've caught up through, and I was not keen on Thor. But as I read it, as it got closer to the War of Realms, it kind of rounded into place. I didn't really love the art. Didn't love some of the stuff
art,
there. I really
I can't even look at it.
Del Mundo, I like him as an artist, but just not on the books he's on.
I really struggled with it, but the story started to make sense. The addition of all the realms and bringing them together made me think of, any of the other expanded universes that we've seen, Green Lantern and Green Arrow and in DC. So I've liked that Thor lore. So that's number 2. And number 3 would be, it's probably Guardians.
Okay.
Is my number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what Kate's has been doing with different stuff, so...
Yeah, I've been in endless catch-up mode. I'm behind on more Marvel books than I would like. I'm just about to wrap up the Charles Soule Daredevil, so that's a few months back. But
I'm behind on that one, too.
I've liked his run a lot more than it did when it started. I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago. I've been kind of burning through that. I went through, what else did I go through recently? I caught up, I think, up until just about the end of the, right before War Realms for Avengers. And I like the idea of the BC 1 million Avengers team. I just want, I kind of just want more. I want more of that story. I like what Aaron set up with them.
Yeah.
I just feel like we got a big tease. They haven't done quite
just not enough with it.
Like they're like it's getting there, but I feel like it almost like there should have been 2 books or something like that. Does that make sense?
Tom, you're right. A mainline one, and then let's fill in these guys on the extra.
Yeah. Although, God knows, we don't need another Marvel comic, but
double shipping.
Yeah.
Double shipping. Put the BC ones on every other week.
I like the arc kind of right prior to that, where they dealt with the big Celestials. Right?
I thought that was good.
That was
too.
pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
I am not caught up, Bryce. I'm sorry if you're listening.
Bryce hasn't read a comic in like a year. What are you even talking about?
I am not caught up with X-Men.
I'd be surprised if he actually has open boxes.
Yeah,
with the stuff I shipped.
I'm behind on more books than I would like to be right now.
Catching on up.
Yeah.
To the side.
Any other books for you guys right now? It doesn't have to be top 3. If there's 1 or 2, like I know Charlie, you've been back on a ton of stuff.
I mean, I've been trying to catch up, but there's also a lot of stuff I'm still way behind on. Like, I do like the Immortal Hulk. I don't understand the level of buzz, as we've talked about, where I enjoy it. But
every online auction has those Hulk issues that they're selling for just stupid prices.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But like, I'm way behind on War of the Realm, so I can't really talk that. I'm a few issues behind on Amazing Spider-Man, but I was liking that a lot. So yeah. I don't feel like there's enough Marvel right now that I'm dying to keep up with.
Marvel.
Well, no, but there's just like there's that level of
bench is out.
There's the level of when I'm behind. Like, I consider it as somewhat telling that I was behind like 8 issues of Justice League that I finally caught up on and such.
Just means it's not that good.
It just means that I'm not so invested in the story that I mind falling behind versus like Batman that I've always sort of kept up on as they've been coming out. I feel that way about most of Marvel right now. There's a lot in there that I think is good enough to keep reading, but I also don't mind if I have to catch up like 6 issues or whatnot, because I don't feel like there's enough in an issue that I'm dying to read the next one.
I have a couple questions here about Phantasm. One from Ryan, one from Brandon. Says, how do you think Tom King will work Phantasm into Batcat? Is he going to be the same character or another femme fatale from Bruce's past? Has Phantasm ever been used in comics before? The only other time I remember seeing her is Batman Beyond, and we talked about that earlier. So as far as I know, Batman Beyond is the only time they've used her. I don't think she's been in anything else.
Is anybody surprised that she hasn't been?
So I had heard that there was some like contractual reason, like the character was created for the animated series of the movies, and unlike Harley, like they weren't just able to roll her into the comics. Like there was some creative
because I think she was in the movie. She was directly in a movie first versus
but I don't
the animated series.
But I don't think that
the movie contracts are different than the animated TV stuff.
That might be why. I don't know the specifics, but it sounded like there was some reason she couldn't be in it. As far as what they would do with her, I mean, I could see them making Phantasm like one of Bruce's like spurned ex-lovers or something like that. That'd be a cool twist. I just in the regular
I'd like
title.
it if they kept it the way they did in the movie, though, where it wasn't like she was the one that got away. She wasn't a spurned ex-lover or anything like that. It would be a bit different.
Yeah,
I just think it would be really fun.
Oh, I'm all for it. I love that storyline. And I mean, they use...
Can't you watch the movie on the DC streaming app right now?
I own the Blu-ray of the movie. I don't need the streaming app for that one.
Rock.
I don't to watch it again.
I own it
again.
Twice on Blu-ray and on DVD.
That's right.
The only time I've seen it, I borrowed it, and if I wanted to watch it again, I would have to borrow it again.
All right, Kevin, Tony from Tony T. Over and under on how delayed Doomsday Clock will be. So we've had the final issue issue 10, came out the end of May. Issue 11 is scheduled for August 14th, so halfway through August. That would put, again, if you take the same schedule, 2.5 months, that would put it at end of October for number 12.
Okay.
How you feeling?
So, well, he said the over-under. So I will Tony T, I will set the over-under at December 15th. Will number 12 be out before or after December 15th?
Well, if I'm to believe what Kevin's hypothesis is,
that was about only number 10, though.
That's a solid 2 months. That's a solid month and a half, like 6 weeks more than the 2.5 month schedule. So that's putting it at 3 months and 3 months and a week between issues.
I will take the under based on Kevin's hypothesis of that it is a plan and other stuff may 10, not have been in line.
Number 10 was my hypothesis. That's not
what
about
happened
to
number 10.
That's the one.
Just kidding. I'm only kidding, Kevin. I'm trolling Kevin, and he just gave me the most disgusted look.
What did you say? December what?
15th.
Okay. Well. December. Oh,
but Tony asked for an over/under.
The final Wednesday of 2019 is Wednesday, December 25th. Christmas Day. What a beautiful day!
So when will
for
those
Doomsday
be
Clock
on the
24th? No, they'd probably be here the week prior, the 20th.
That was the old Charlie prediction of Christmas. Christmas shipping.
Yeah, December
a Doomsday Christmas.
January 1st is January 1st is a Wednesday as well. So no, October 30th.
Get 3 weeks worth of books that week prior.
October 30th.
There's a
bug in my
flying around.
October 30th is the final week of October. That should be the scheduled.
Start doing it.
That should be the scheduled date for number 12. I think they can hit that. I think they hit October.
So you think
30th.
there are no more delays?
At 2.5 months between issues, yeah, there fucking better not be any delays.
Okay.
Hold on,
hold on. That is also. I'm taking the over on Ryan's early October.
No, end of October, October 30th.
False.
If we have 2.5 months to 11 and then 2.5 months to 12, October 30th.
So there will be no more delays on this title. Is your prediction?
Again, unless
is your prediction?
Do you consider 2.5 months no delays?
I'm saying the dates that they have announced now will be hit without another delay.
I have to assume they padded that enough.
Okay, Ryan doesn't even know the dates they've announced right now.
They've announced one. They've announced 11 is mid. What did I say? Mid August. Yeah,
August 14th.
Yep.
And then what's 12?
And then I say 12 is October.
So they haven't
30th.
solicited 12 yet,
right? But it's 2.5 months out. I give it another 2.5 months.
What year did this start in?
2017.
Just checking.
I believe October 30th. Heard it here first.
I wish they would have just told me, hey, look, you're going to buy this comic for 3 years. And I'd be, that's great. Instead of 12 issues. 12 issues is
as long as
1 year.
As long as it finishes before Saga comes back,
1 year.
I'll be fine.
1 year.
Final question.
1 year is 12 issues.
It is. Final question. Fortress Comictude podcast at FOC_podcast on Twitter. They say, what is the best and worst redesigned costumes in comics?
Of all time?
Redesign.
Oh, man.
Redesign.
The redesign of Nightwing is terrible.
It's a current one? Or
I love
Disco?
I love Disco
I was going to
Nightwing.
say, the redesign of Nightwing is easily one of the best redesigns ever in comics. The
you didn't like
90s
Disco Nightwing?
Blue, that 90s blue Nightwing
loved
is
it.
by far one of the best redesigns
That's a
ever.
little bit of a troll for me because I do like his new outfit. So, Brown Wolverine.
That's best.
Brown Wolverine is terrible.
Oh.
Is the worst. I hated Brown
Oh,
Wolverine.
nothing's worse than his first costume. With the whiskers.
Wonder Man with the red
not a
coat
redesign.
and the turtleneck.
I love that Wonder Man with the safari jacket and the
And the red turtleneck? Or the
that's
white turtleneck?
the best one. Anybody who's doubting this, Google Wonder Man and you find me a better costume in his history than that one with the red
you don't like
jacket.
Electric Wonder Man?
Find me a better one.
You don't like Electric Blue Wonder
Go ahead,
Man?
Scott.
Red overcoat.
It's not. It's a safari jacket. Find me the one that's better.
His first one.
You don't like Electric Lightning Wonder Man?
I didn't like that.
I like that.
Well, I like it about as equal as Electric Lightning Superman for that
Yeah,
period
this
in the
is true.
90s.
I hated the red coat and the turtleneck.
Oh, I love because that's like the Wonder
You'd be
Man.
wearing the
but see,
turtleneck in California in the summer.
yeah,
Yeah, West Coast Avengers.
That's the Wonder Man.
This one's worse. That redesign's worse.
That's the Wonder Man from the Perez era of the Avengers. That's what that's why I think of that has a special place for me.
I had a hard time with that, even with Perez drawing it.
Oh, Wonder Man has had some really shitty fucking...
Look at the horizontal picture of the history. God. Yeah, how Brock found it.
I like the first one with the green and the red goggles.
That's fine. It's just like a...
Scott, are you webbing or no webbing under the armpits?
Am I webbing?
Yeah, or no webbing?
I am. Although, there was a little bit when McFarlane came in and threw down some webs.
Well, that was just webbing everywhere.
I like that, but I like no webbing. I'm a JR guy.
Me too.
John Romita guy. I love John Romita Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I loved Black Suit Spider-Man.
Oh, I think Black Suit Spider-Man has to be one of the best redesigns ever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like Batman Yellow Oval Batman, which was technically a redesign.
Yeah.
And I really disliked the Ryan, you'll have to help me out. Is this New 52 with the Jim Lee Justice League?
The high collars.
The high collars and like the
armor.
And like the hand,
armor?
the back of the hand covering.
It's a bunch of jackets.
It's
very,
a bunch
very
of
busy.
It's busy. It's the kind of costumes that look good on a pinup, but don't look good panel to panel in action.
Yeah, I'm a little over like Armored Flash and everything.
And of all characters, where it makes even less sense.
Yeah.
Let's see what's been good, Charlie.
I mean, I'm trying not to go super recent here because I'm not a big fan of the current look of Wolverine that I've seen, or Jean.
Oh my God! The current Jean Grey costume is easily one of the worst.
The worst.
Yeah. Easily.
Oh, I hate that red costume.
Yeah, easily one of the worst.
Just terrible.
No, you want to know what one of the worst costumes was? Is the X across the face Cyclops?
Yeah,
that was bad too.
I feel like the X-Men have had really, really, really so. There's two camps. I hated X-Force. When they first came out and they had the giant X's all across and the shoulder pads, uniforms, I did not love when the original X-Men started as X. I hated those costumes.
Was it X Factor?
They were X Factor.
Yeah.
Did I say Force?
Yeah. You said Force, yeah.
Force is fine. They just don't have shoulder pads.
I don't think they've done a single good X-Men redesign in like the past 10 years. Like every single time they've messed with the costume over the last 10 years has been really bad.
The only one that they've kept consistent on is Emma Frost.
Why not?
I mean, he's like, don't change what works, right? Oh, a really bad design flaw that they got rid of.
You ready?
But as
Here's
a joke,
one for you. A bad redesign, Ryan? Nova.
Which one?
With the sharp, the bottom, the one now that has
I don't mind.
I don't like that one.
Like the sharp shoulder blades or whatever.
No, don't like that one.
Power Girl without the cutout.
Her redesign was
She's
terrible.
all about the cutout.
Every single issue it was getting ripped off anyway.
That was the joke, but it's still a bad redesign.
I'm going to say all-time favorite for me is the Captain Marvel redesign from the green and white.
Yeah, that green one
to the Gil Kane red.
Yeah.
Was that Gil Kane? That wasn't. Yeah. So that was not. I always associate that new red one with
worst
Starlin.
One of the worst redesigns.
It's Gil Kane.
It's hipster Batgirl.
Oh, the Burnside Batgirl.
Burnside Batgirl.
I'm not into any of Batgirl's recent costumes. One of the best, War Machine.
Robin.
Yeah.
The Tim Drake Robin's easily one of my favorite
love Tim
redesigns.
Drake
Yeah, with the long pants and the black, the black and yellow on the.
When you say Robin, I just see all the Robins in Teen Titans Go.
I love War Machine. I love War Machine's costume.
Iron Man's had some bad ones.
Yeah.
But
he's had some.
Are you nose or no nose on Iron Man?
I'm like late 60s Iron Man through the 70s, like
Shellhead.
Bronze Age Iron Man, no nose, Shellhead. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's any worse than a Punisher Angel. So that's about as bad as you get.
I don't even know what that is.
When they killed the Punisher,
and became an avenging angel.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking like X-Men Angel.
No.
Punisher became the Punisher.
Well, Angel as Archangel was obviously cool, but it's kind of a different character.
Yeah, but it was amazing.
Can I go from comic book to animated?
Sure.
The Rastafarian Joker.
Oh, awful.
What was that in?
The Batman.
The Batman.
Yeah.
Hate that. Oh,
Your guy, the Riddler,
terrible.
has had some good ones.
And some not.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I love the animated Riddler with like the bowler hat and the jacket and everything.
Then just
There's a
it's
yeah.
right behind
Oh, no,
you.
that's the bodysuit one behind him.
Oh, well, I like that.
You don't like Tom
lo-
King with the question carved into his chest?
I
No.
like green leotard covered in little question marks.
Yeah.
That's just my favorite.
Terrible movie Bullseye
Oh.
with the
Yeah.
The
with
brand.
the scar on his forehead.
They really like doing that, huh?
It's just
Like
ridiculous.
scar stuff into people. All right. If you have your favorite costume or least favorite costumes, post them on the Geekbox forum.
Post a picture
Yeah.
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
you're talking
Yep.
about, what
Yep.
your favorite is.
Boom.
It's over at facebook.com.
Is there anybody out there that liked Brown Wolverine?
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
mean when Byrne, that Brown Wolverine? Is that who you're thinking
Even
of?
though,
No.
and I love Byrne,
Like
I just didn't
ongoing
like Brown
Wolverine, early ongoing Wolverine issues.
Yeah.
I just didn't like Brown Wolverine.
It just
I have no problem with,
Really?
like, I prefer the yellow, but I'm fine with the brown.
Didn't like the brown. I don't hate it as much as others, but
I don't know. When it comes
Jean
to
Grey.
Wolverine, anything in that rough shape, I tend to be happy with. When they go away from that,
As long as there's no whiskers, right?
I don't know. I really liked the old little ear Wolverine from the OG 181.
we'll get a second printing of that reprint.
okay. Horrible redesign is when, like, Wolverine had the bandana over his head.
Yep.
And,
Oh, bandanas
Age-
are just bad.
The metal.
No Nose, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Oh, that's not a good one either.
Brock, what about the Harley Quinn redesign from the animated
He loves
series?
all of them.
Oh, I actually prefer the horror one versus the animated one.
I will always
Harley.
prefer the animated one.
I agree with Charlie on this.
What do you feel? What do you guys feel about
Harley
the Luke
has,
Cage?
Harley has like rollers.
Oh, Luke Cage! Come on, Scott.
It's
got to be
70s Luke Cage.
Yellow shirt,
Yellow with the tiara.
chain belt,
And the
those
tiara.
three- Yep.
V-neck,
But-
the extreme V-neck.
So I have to say,
Yes.
I love that.
That's the extreme
But I
V-neck
especially love
with
it
a
when,
collar.
like, modern Luke Cage references just how.
Yes,
He'll like
it's
randomly
really
say
good.
"Sweet Christmas." But modern Luke Cage just looks like a bouncer from a
Yeah.
club.
He does.
But
This
that's
is
why I
cool.
like. That's why I like when he references that. Like, what was I thinking?
He's got a chain belt.
Yeah, look, it is tied. See,
Who ties a chain belt?
I'll get on Scott's good side here. Any Iron Fist costume that's not his classic Iron Fist costume is terrible. Never change Iron Fist costume.
Yes. I mean, so you can't change. That is one bandana or a headpiece that works.
That's
I does.
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
they redesigned it in the Fraction.
I mean, you can like modernize it, but don't. I mean, he's had different looks from time to time,
But don't hack it up too bad.
No.
Pants on Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. The leather jacket Wonder Woman. Oh, no good.
Or how about the
Good stuff though. We got there's lots of good stuff there too.
So whose question was this?
Seeing
I already closed it. I don't know.
seeing the knee Supergirl.
Fortress of Comic Theater, I believe it was.
Seeing the
question.
knee Supergirl with her boots.
Yeah.
Like the thing
I like
went up
George
and there
Perez
was a hole for her
Wonder
knee.
Girl.
Like why?
Neil Adams Superman. You don't
But
get,
did you like?
It's
did
not
you
so much a
like-
redesign; it's just a tightening up of every element. All right.
Now, did you guys like Starsuit Wonder Girl?
Oh. So I will. Okay. So I love our good friend Raphael. We all know Raphael.
Right,
Everyone in the
right.
store knows Rafi, biggest Wonder Woman fan on the
Correct.
planet. One of the. I mean, hardest
I don't
of
know any
hardcore.
bigger Wonder Woman fan than
Hardest
Ralph.
of hardcore Donna Troy fan of all time.
Yep.
He bags on that star costume. I fucking love way more than the red costume. I love the black Starfield Donna Troy costume. Love it.
I like it too. I'm neutral on either one.
Oh, I am.
But I like the
every
Starfield
day and twice on Sundays. The black costume.
I would think that Rafi liked that one.
Oh, he hates it. So that's where I will disagree with him on. I like her red costume. I like it.
Kevin,
I'll
where
take
do
it
you
either way.
stand on the Starfield
but black
costume?
costume every time.
I like both. I like both.
Black costume every
Yeah.
time. I love that costume. we're going to wrap up. Go post your pictures over in the Geek Box.
Favorite or least favorite redesign, right?
And Comic Conspiracy. Yep, Facebook group.
My favorite question in a while.
You just add. You could ask to join. You have lots of people on there.
It's a geek question.
It's fun.
Maybe we should do a Patreon level where we just do costumes like, oh, that's garbage, and we show pictures.
Just remember OG Dazzler.
OG Dazzler.
I love OG Dazzler.
Julian Titus probably does too. He has the Nerds of the Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. You should go listen to the Nerds of the Pants podcast, as well as Jody Lawson. He has a Triad Comics anthology over at triadcomicstudios.com. Don't forget our good friend Sam Shea, Craig Anderson at craigpanderson.com, Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez. He has a podcast, Recovery of an Anime Junkie. Go listen to that. You have Page Turners. That's a comic podcast at pageturnerspodcast.libsyn.com. Our good friend Tyler Willits over at Thursday Thunderdome. That's at Thursday T-Dome or thursdaythunderdome.com. And that's also a podcast. Lots of podcasts on here. If you like this one, listen to all these, as well as our newest high-tier backer, Ryan Marling. Go check out tiny.cc/orneryduke. He has a Pokemon opening video series on YouTube that he just started. He's looking for some people to subscribe so we can get his custom URL.
Subscribe button.
So go over there. And don't forget to go to comicconspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and iTunes. You can find Geekbox coming up probably Thursday morning. It's our post-E3 episode. Hours and hours and hours talking about Nintendo, and I'm sure we'll spend 5 minutes talking about Sony and PlayStation 2. Rate and review us if you can on
2.
iTunes. That always helps. Of course, youtube.com/comicsconspiracy, and go over there and follow us on YouTube. Listen to these episodes on YouTube. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net is where you can send your long-form questions. And, of course, if you want to be a backer and get some plugs or on our end-of-month list of all our Patreon backers, patreon.com/comic-conspiracy is where you can do that. You can kick a couple bucks.
Sharp's coming back.
Oh.
I've got another nominee for greatest redesign
Greatest
ever.
redesign
Neil Adams' Green Arrow, the Robin Hood Green Arrow with the goatee and the...
Yeah.
We were just looking at the comics rack and came up with somebody...
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. It's good.
Okay, I'm out.
There you go.
What about Aquaman Hook Hand?
Digital. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can buy your digital comic books to read on your iPad, your phone, your tablet, your television, your computer. And, of course, if you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, that is our regular store where we have all sorts of physical comic books for you to purchase, toys, action figures, graphic novels, tons of stuff. Walking Dead number 192, Superman Leviathan number 1, first prints.
Got some Doomsday Clock still.
Tons of
gotten that yet.
Every issue, tons of good stuff over there. And, of course, you can go listen to Brock at conspiratorbrock.com, watch his blog, video pull list, and unboxing videos. You can check out Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. And Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wife Leanne's Etsy store. Go and buy some art from her there. Ryan Higgins Ryan, that is myself. I am on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Scott is CS Shea. Kevin Sharp is That Kevin Sharp. The store is Comics Con Store. Contrary to popular belief, Jim Jarmusch is not on this podcast. It'd be Jim Jokic, and he's LD Exterminator if you want to go find him on Twitter. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and Infinite Binge. Those are some other stuff that our fellow podcast family does. You can always go check those guys out as well. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for putting up with my ridiculous Nintendo Twitter feed today and for the next few days. Thank you for listening to this podcast as always, and we'll catch you next week.